Christmas night. She's a fucking delight. Winter cold to hot summer rays. Reindeer will fly, pulling Santa's sleigh. 2 countries, a world away, the same holiday. The Cloud Queen cares for everyone. Her roller coaster ride is only just begun. This is her wish. Debug, demystify, destigmatize. Miss Shorty's on the naughty list. This tune is the Christmas sound. Her global roller coaster goes around. It's the holidays at every turn. She is a Christmas star out of Melbourne. Miss Shorty connects all the lights, just checking all bright to light up Christmas night. She's a fucking delight.
Hey chat, how's it going? Good to see you. It feels like forever. Hang on, of course I just can't get my stupid earbuds to work. Oh, standard. We're back to the old shorty ways. Goodness me. Try it again. Hi. Merry Christmas Eve. It's good to see you all here. Just getting the earbuds to work. Come on, earbuds. I can do it without them, but yeah, we'll see. Standard. Oh my goodness. Yes, connected. Boom! Took a little while. Good to see you, shorties. Who's here? We've got Angie's here. Good to see you, darling. Ashley's back. Amazing. Crystal's here. Yes. Kevin, sir. Laura B. Yes. Christine K fan. Love to see you again. Good to see everyone coming over. Stephanie Bloody Blah. Moon Goddess. Yes. Chelsea's here. Well, it's just me scrolling and looking. Eileen's here. Good to see you. Irene as well. Eileen and Irene. You guys are trying to trip me up. Yes. Hi, Moon Goddess. John Trot. Merry. Yeah, we're always super merry. We couldn't be fucking merrier. Facts though. Prince Lover. Hey girl. Thank you. Hi. Hydration reminder. Sup, beautiful. You know, my spirits are high, my numbers are soaring, life is amazing. Some shit has hit the fan also, but that's okay. The sound quality wasn't bad before, in my honest opinion, but it's great now with the new mic. We should ask EDB's son if you're a real YouTuber now. I mean, man, I've got a ways to go till we get to 1 million, but we're working on it, right? Much to certain folks' shock and horror. Yeah, it's pretty cool, huh? Like, I feel so profesh. And it was hardly any money either. It cost hardly anything. So I'm getting there. Nice. Mike sounds great. Amazing. Hopefully I don't blast you. I hope it's a bit less like screechy. I know that I'm trying to be more calm with my voice. And then I get excited and I do this and it all goes to shit. But Kimberly Maguire's here. Fantastic. Hi, everyone. Kelly, yes. Kelly, Steffi, hey. Heather Taylor, how are you going, my good friend? Awesome intro, says Garrett Gruden. Thank you. That's the song was written by, or the lyrics are written by Melissa with one ass is her current name. The video is done by Adam Drives Helen. Don't worry, working on new intro. Yikes. Vixie Blaze is back. Lovely. Sherry Berry, good to see you, darling. Eileen in Scotland. Excuse me, Amber. Hi. Okay. Am I down to the bottom yet? No. Oh, Zach. Oh my God, Zach's here. Who gave Zach a wrench? For goodness sake. Hi, Grace. Good to see you. Thank you, darling. It's been quite the 72 hours, particularly the last 24 hours. Okay. He doesn't even think EDB is a real YouTuber, so his bar is real high. I know, right? Jerry Mulhilly. Is that how I say it right? Keep on keeping on, my friend. Yeah, well, you know, we have got no other option. Shelby's back. I'm on an emotional roller coaster. I'm up now. I mean, it's the whole vibe of this channel, right? in my bio, it's life is a roller coaster. Want to ride with me? It would not be on brand if we weren't riding this motherfucker together, right? Nicole, yay, 2 lives in one night. Oh, you're a lucky girl. I mean, we're all blessed to have each other, right? Pierre's going to give us the updates. Bruins are up by 1, beginning of the second period in the hockey. Thank you. Amazing. You can be our sportscaster. Lovely. Cool. Shelby, you are in good company. We are riding this motherfucker till the wheels fall off, but I don't think they're going to. So I have a good friend behind the wall backstage. You might know her as as Aussie Insider. It's how we all know her as. What a girl. Aussie and I have been copying it. And Jason. Jason's coming also. So this live was planned as just a hangout, shoot the shit, anything goes. We might need to do some more debriefing, but we don't. I mean, we're just hanging for as long as we hang to spend some time together. Shelby has coffee. Fantastic. It's a good old Irish name. Yes. I want to say it properly, but then also I can't even say Steph's last name. So there's that. Feral Monday. Is it Monday? Yes. Every day's feral here. Every day. Get to the ducking point. Exactly. Lurkers get you. Focused. Speaking of get to the point. Wait. Do I do lurkers first? I think there's going to be some lurkers. I think it's important to say hi now. To know and say hi. Hi. Love you. Couldn't do without you. Well, we probably could, but you know. Enough already. Enough blabbering on. Hey, Aussie, how you going?
Oops.
Sorry. I sprung it on you.
You did. I was in the middle of taking a swig of the coffee. Good morning, everyone. Happy New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve. Oh my God! Don't finish it off just yet for us. Christmas Eve, but same. It's all just one big fest. It's all just one big festive vibe at the moment, right, Aussie?
I woke up. I finished our live yesterday. I went to sleep, and I woke up with a delivery at the door. Like 20 minutes ago. So I'm brain dead. Please, you're gonna have to lead me today. I'm brain dead. So sorry about that. Happy Christmas Eve.
Listen. I'm a leader. I'm not a follower, and I can lead you wherever. I will gently coax you along. Okay.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you for being here. And if we need to make it a shorty, because shorty, if we need to make it a short one, we can do that too. My voice is starting to feel the fatigue of all of the many epic endless lives of talking. Normally I don't talk much at all. I know you can't imagine it, but yeah, hey. Stacey Q is here. The lurker thing. It is creepy. And now that we know, I mean, I think I'm probably gonna have to things have changed, haven't they? Yeah. This is the first time I've been on my channel, Aussie, since the news dropped. So this is a little bit weird, actually. John Trott asks, how far apart are you from each other? Well, I'm in Melbourne and Aussie is on the north coast of New South Wales, right?
Yeah, probably about, I don't know, 2,000 kilometers, I guess.
Which in miles, what's miles? Something miles. Somebody will do some radical conversion.
I'll do it for you. Let me get the proper, let's say Brisbane, just for the sake of argument. The distance between Brisbane and Melbourne is...
Stacey's already got it. Stacey wins.
It is at 1,700 kilometers between here and Melbourne, and that in 1775. Oh my God, brain's not working, hey.
I've been on the brain not working for a long time. When Karen Cole said, I can tell you how to portal, I'm like, brain not braining.
1,100 miles. There you go.
1,100 miles. So not an hour or two, John Trott, no. Yes. Maybe Vegas. So we had Vegas Cops TV in our chat last one, obviously wanting to see what all the fuss was about. Pretty cool. And the Glare, Will, lovely to have his support, continued support. Colors is here. Hi, Colors. Good to
Hello,
see
Colours.
you.
Can I just shout out Colours and Melly today for being so brave to jump on the stream and speak what happened to them? You girls are so brave. That's all I can say. You're brave and you inspire me. You're both wonderful. I also put a link, for those who don't know, to Melly's channel on my community notice board.
I saw that. That's really kind.
I didn't know she had a channel.
Yes, she started her channel just about the time when Adam came off his parole, right? No, probation. What was it? Probation. 36 months.
Apparently.
Glare is here. Apparently Glare is here again.
Will, my brother from another mother.
Is he though? Or is that just John Trott saying hello? But he was in the last one. I'm not sure. He might drop by. I don't know. Hi anyway, Glera. Good to see you. Good to see you.
He's probably still watching, so hey, Glera.
Hey, Glera. Hey, Will. Love you, Tommy CPU, who is also here. Good to see you, sir. Misty, my first. Yay! Misty says my first shorty live. Well, welcome. I hope I hope you enjoy. It's going to be a little unusual, I guess, but strap in. It's a kind, supportive community. We take things seriously, particularly what we're going to probably end up talking about. We certainly don't take ourselves too seriously, which is a good way to be. Stacey Q says the kids are here. Have a great night, everyone. Thanks, Stacey. Make sure you hit the like on the way out. And Amber dropped before to remind me, so let me just do this again. For replay crew, hang on, let me play the bumper. Again, gonna have to make some new motherfucking bumpers because this is awkward. So if you're on replay crew, if you would, and thank you, replay crew, couldn't do it without you. Lurker's a bit more, but yes. If you're on replay crew and you would like to see the chat in live chat replay, all you need to do is go to the comments section of the video and swipe left up in the top right, I think, of the thing, and it gives you the option to go to live chat replay instead of comments. So our chat is always fun. It might be a little less fun tonight and a little more on the heavy side. Not heavy, but we've got probably got some stuff to still debrief about. So you know that. Oh my God. We don't play oh my God, but we love outsiders. Nobody's an outsider. Everybody is welcome. Open arms always. So, except maybe Canton, just don't exactly. Well, I mean, there's Cantonites in here and tonight. Absolutely, everybody matters here, so long as we treat each other with respect and have an open mind and an ability to a willingness and an ability to maybe do some critical thinking and to be able to separate oneself from the emotions of things and set the emotions aside and think about things a little bit more objectively. And yes, what do you reckon, Aussie?
Oops. Am I even?
Oops.
I thought I had my mic muted.
That's okay.
I'm such a dickhead. Coughing in your ear.
No, you did have your mic muted. I didn't hear a cough at all. And we all know that I will probably mute myself a couple of times, and it's even more exciting because I got a little button here on my microphone because I'm like a professional now. Like
when you adjust it, you accidentally mute yourself.
Well, I always mute myself to eat cheese, always, and then I forget. So I'll probably still forget. That's actually guaranteed. Thank you, Zach. Zach put Miss Mandy Reacts channel link in the comments. Miss Mandy is an amazing creator. She does a lot of cool stuff on her channel. Quite a diverse range of content. Good woman too. So she's been the victim of a lot of online bullying from actually some of the aunties, among others. So go and give her a subscribe. She just hit 2,000. And rising seas lift all ships. Of course, if you haven't subscribed to Aussie Insider, what the fuck? Get over there. Hit the subscribe. Hit the subscribe.
And if you haven't subscribed to Lisa, hit the subscribe button.
I think if they're in chat, they have to, because subscriber only mode is on. I think. I hope.
Okay.
If it's not, fine. What kind of cheese? Well, so here's the thing. I'm so super classy sometimes. When I eat cheese, though, when I'm streaming, it's not classy. It's plastic wrapped government cheese, as you guys call it in the States. I also am very, very bougie and like to eat brie cheese and crackers, not baked brie. I don't know. The Glera was in chat earlier. Yes, he was. The last live stream. It was amazing. I loved seeing that kind of support from, busy people who've got plenty to do and plenty of their own YouTubey stuff to do. It's amazing. So cheese for the win. Love. It does also give me a weird frog in my throat that then I have to clear my throat like repeatedly. So it's like I'm gonna have to get a different stream snack. Anyway. Yeah, what the fuck, said Steph? Go and subscribe. Exactly. Jill Kennedy says, Chrissy, blessings to you both. Top Aussie chicks. Yes. From your big sis on sweaty as fuck Magnetic Island, Queensland. Thanks, Jilly. Beautiful.
Julie.
Oh, wait. Cherry loves cheese. Everyone, I think mostly everyone loves cheese. Cheese is like deliciously flavored fat, and I love it.
Mine definitely camembert and chicken chippies every week.
Yum. Yum. Brie and camembert are very similar. Joke for Aussie Insider. I met a woman from Australia who works in IT. I asked her, do you come from a land down under? Ay. Jim Cox is here. Hey, Jim, good to see you. I'll try and catch everybody to say hello as we go. Of course, VDOT is here. Provolone all day, every day. Yum. I'm a big fan of VDOT's the man. Big fan of salami and wrapped around a little Roma tomato or a cherry tomato. Just pop it in. Delish. Boston MA says Trader Joe's has the best cheese selection. I mean, any cheese is good cheese, I guess, right? Hi, Debbie Blair. Good to see you. We've been copping some shit on the Twitters, Aussie.
Oh, what? Apparently, I shouldn't have used the word friend. Like, the whole sentence is okay, but I got like 100 comments going, "Why are you saying friend?" It's like, okay.
I mean, can I just say, like, I don't want to speak for Jimmy, but I mean, I know, like, we all had each other's numbers, right? Jimmy, I've got Jimmy's number. I had Adam's number. I don't have OB's number. I spoke to Jimmy on the phone the other night. Adam used to speak to Jimmy often. I don't think Jimmy was necessarily a good friend, but there was more than just a subscriber link there. And that's not to say that means Jimmy, sorry, Auntie Deb, apologies. Auntie Deb, sorry, Auntie Deb. Obviously, everybody is denounced. And if you haven't heard, Adam Drives Helen, aka recently called Land Pirate Radio, we discovered, thanks to some amazing OSINT work by Aussie and some others, that et al. Yes, that person is actually a convicted felon predator, preying on minors, convicted and has served jail time, and is now on the sex offender registry, not the public listing, because he was not deemed a level 3. So that's obviously, that goes without saying. We are all blown away by the news, the information that this person who had infiltrated all of our chats, and for some of us our lives, and for me, my heart, I thought, turns out to be absolutely not what he was presenting. And for those who want to say that this is not a catfish because his face was shown, it's a catfish. A catfish is someone who puts forward themselves to others as being something that they're not. It can be how they look, it could be their age, or it could be their character, right? And their history and their intentions. This was a catfish, right, Aussie?
Absolutely, it was. And trying to make the victims of said catfisher, predator, slash, trying to make the victims out to be responsible for what he did is I'm sorry, like I said, I'm blank today. There's going to be a lot of times where my brain falls apart, but it's just not. It's
That's
not
okay.
on. Okay, don't
It's
make the victims.
reprehensible. It's actually reprehensible. And the people that are minimizing the predatory nature of something like this, who haven't been able to make the link between
Yeah.
what
How
a
about just thank you, ladies, for letting us know there's a predator in the community. How about that? That would
yep,
be nice.
absolutely. I think at the moment, there's still a lot of emotion tied up in the damage that Adam Levi Boyd did to our community by infiltrating and manipulating and using his powers of manipulation to draw in a core group of people that then, under that brainwashed kind of coercive control umbrella, went and wreaked havoc on, well, me and the community and a lot of friendships, right? So that is a fact. That's how we came to this to researching and finding this information, because at the core of it all, Adam was the key, was the link. Adam Boyd was the link, and the one constant throughout. And from there, the OSINT was done, the research was done, and the information was uncovered. So we know that. So then we also need to remember the fact that predators, and if we think about someone like I don't know, Stephen Stearns, they present themselves as being one way. They get into people's favor. They become part of the furniture, right? They're everywhere. You become comfortable with them. They do what they've got to do, and then they, with that level of comfort, they then go about and manipulate people and or hurt people and or destroy people, because that's what those kind of predators do, and that's what's happened here. So I understand that people are still under that cognitive dissonance feeling of, but this is not the man we thought we knew. Yeah, my friends and I and me have been going through that same process for the last 3 or 4 weeks, trying to unravel what we thought about this person, what this person led us to believe, and the reality of it. It's going to take a while to unravel, but it needs to be that people who are wrapped up in this, who have been participating at his behest in the pylon and the propaganda and the lies and the slander. It'll take them a little longer. The people who don't know anything about that, the Twitter people who are just going, why are you linking certain, why, friends? Like, shut the fuck up. If you want to know, come and watch some of the streams, watch some of Aussie Insider's little clips, watch some of my, if you need to know what's going on, live streams, and don't put in your 2 cents worth when you don't know the context of what's been going on, because it's been despicable. This is just the epic bombshell that came from 4 weeks of despicable behavior driven by Adam Boyd, right? So
Exactly. And I'm not upset that people still haven't come to their realizations. What I'm upset is that they're trying to divert their own feelings about this to either the victims, anger at the victims, or anger at me for using an incorrect word in an entire sentence that says, please, here's the documents. So
yes.
if it's got to come down to I used one incorrect word in the sentence in trying to get the documents out there, then what's that about? It's not really about the word, is it? It's about the way the person's wanting to shift that blame still. So rather than just facing their own feelings about how they feel about it.
Absolutely. And also it really does. This is again a pylon, right, Aussie? This is a pylon of people on
Oh my
us who
God,
don't
it's just
actually they don't actually know the full story. Very similar to the pile-on that was going on in one particular channel's chat, by people who were happily being led, like manipulated and lied to by Adam Boyd, and some of the people that he'd pulled in to believe already his lies. So then they went like flying monkeys at his behest and spewed out vile vitriol about me. So that was a pile on from people who didn't really know the facts, didn't seek out any facts, just believed what they were being told and believed on face value. And that's what's happening on Twitter, on X at the moment. On us, people are like piling on with their virtue signaling about how dare you, and how you I'm sorry he hurt you, and you're just salty because he broke up with you, and then you're all missing the point. No. And if you want to weigh in on this, get some context or shut up. Like, I'm sorry, it's not cool, and don't be piling on.
There's 32 posts under my thread. Here's the documents, because you didn't want to speculate. Here's the documents. There's 32 comments underneath the documents, and they're all abusing me. There's not a single one about sorry to the two victims, or even who was the other victim. If you didn't watch the stream, nothing about the victims, nothing about that person doing that, nothing. It's all accusing me of, I don't know, you name it. Really, every single comment comes down to I used an incorrect word in the sentence.
Yes, and because I retweeted yours, I quoted it and retweeted. I'm getting the same stuff on that thread, and demanding that I apologize to Auntie Deb for calling him a friend and for retweeting that slander. Well, but they were friends. We were all friends with him. That's the thing. That's what's hard about it. We were all friends with him. I was thinking that I was, like, I thought that I was in a relationship with him. I mean, it was a relationship, but it wasn't like a heartfelt mutual relationship. It was a stalker and a predator preying on someone who just was falling in love. And that's what
annoys me, is the victims are willing to own it, and I'm trying to tell them, hey, you're still a victim. They're still willing to own it. It's like nobody else is willing to own it. I was not friendly. I was friendly towards him because of my friend Shorty, but I was not friends with him. I didn't have contact with him outside of every now and again when Shorty was on a stream or in the chat or whatever. I was friendly to him, but I didn't have any friendship with him behind the scenes.
No. I guess I was more saying, my generalization was the people that considered themselves friends in those chats with Adam, because he fostered he's sucked up to everybody. He sucked up to everybody. And then there's the core group of, like, again, the flying monkeys. It's a derogatory term, but I think it still sticks because they have their own, autonomy of thought and decision-making processes to use their critical thinking and to think, hang on, this doesn't line up with what I have seen of Shorty. And I think they were quite willing participants. So that's the friends that I'm speaking of. And quite honestly,
I also get the denial that goes with this. Like, it's very common to have that denial and want to pass the blame to something else or to someone else. It's very common, like that state of denial. It's human. I'm not going to hold it against them, but I would like people to actually start thinking about what they're saying and doing, because it's not our friend. It's not our fault. Just read that comment and said, friend, my brain.
See it for me says, can you please clarify what this person was covering? I don't know this channel. Absolutely welcome. This isn't really necessarily the usual way that things go, but a bomb fell into our laps about 24 hours ago or so, about someone in our community, Adam Drives Helen, or Land Pirate Radio. His real name is Adam Levi Boyd. And Aussie, what did we discover based on some OSINT research?
So yeah, just
do you want to pull it up just because so we can see the face, and do you have that there?
Yep, I do. Let me chuck it up on the screen for you.
While you're doing
Cheers.
that, Amber says all that was needed to start to heal is for those who tore Shorty down to say we got hoodwinked, holy shit, and not continue to defend their behavior. And I've had some people like Lori Life 360. I have had people that have come and said that and say, I'm so sorry. I feel terrible. I apologize that I questioned your integrity. And I appreciate that. And apologies are accepted. I don't expect apologies. I think it's very hard initially, and often for many people forever, to for people to say, oh, I was wrong, and even harder to say, wow, I was hoodwinked, I was betrayed, and holy shit. That takes some pretty good self-awareness and maturity, emotional maturity, to be able to do that, right?
Exactly.
Yes,
And
Aussie.
I'd just like to also say that I cancelled all my OSINT accounts because I'm saving up for my house.
Yeah.
I cancelled all my OSINT accounts, so I didn't do any research on this guy. And that's on me because, you know, I claim to be OSINT. I should have probably done some research on this guy. But my friend was already involved with him before any red flags were raised. So I didn't want to tear my friend down or upset her because she was already involved in this. So that's on me. I own it. Shorty forgives me for that. That's fine. But this was just a Google search, guys, on his name. That's all it was. It was a Google search, right? That's the extent of OSINT. So OSINT stands for Open Source Investigations. And I dropped the ball because, like I said, I cancelled all my accounts. But I'm actually taking the credit for having done this because the people who actually did do it are too afraid to say anything because of the shit that we're copying right now. So when someone's too afraid to come out and say something like this, that says something about the way the community is behaving. It's not a mark on us because the community behaves that way. They came to us because we're the only ones who would take the flak for the way that the community behaves. But anyway, here's the
There's a whole
deal.
lot of mob mentality and group think that's been going on because of the driver of that yuck of that van, Adam Levi Boyd. So yes, continue. Hi, Michelle.
Yes, and on Jim Cox's point there, yes, we don't need to criticize the deniers. I understand the humanness of denial. So we're just putting it out there. If people want to come at us sideways because we're putting it out there, that's fine. So
Sorry,
another point.
Just before you go on, Daisy says predators use manipulation and flattery to change the narrative on victims, and those who can't see that will be victims by the next predator. Not okay. And also, once the predator isn't able to control the main target, me, because I was moving forward, I was dumped. It was just a breakup. It was just a stupid breakup in my mind, and I was moving forward. I was blindsided. I was trying to move forward and deal with it my own way, respecting his boundaries. That he it was very final. It was a blindside, and so when I didn't, I think he expected me to like kind of grovel and try to get him back. And when I didn't, he almost immediately flipped 180 degrees and turned from all the gushing love, sort of love bombing stuff to
Switching you off.
vitriol and narrative changing. And while before we start reading, I have someone very special backstage. We were waiting for this lovely gentleman, and I'm so happy to see you, Jason Broyles. How are you?
Hello, I'm back.
Hi.
I feel like
Deja vu.
I feel like I spend more time in Australia than I do in America these days. I'm not sure what's going on, but
Amazing. Thank you for joining us, Jason. We're just sort of people still need to be debriefing on this. It wasn't necessarily what I'd envisioned for this stream to be, but here we are. So I think it's important to keep going over it because it's a bombshell. So
Yeah, there's a
those of you
today, so we apologize for that.
I just also wanted to say, if you don't know who Jason is, I'm sorry. This is on Twitter. If you're on Twitter or X, it's not Haley Walbrecht, the man, the legend, the lady who was who is quite the bulldog when it comes to confronting and exposing the bad eggs in our little corner of of the world, right? So that's that. If Jason's got a brand new channel that's still kind of getting off the ground in terms of content, but please go and subscribe to HW on the case.
It's
One of my mods
on
will-
your case.
on your case. Oh my god, the mods will drop the link in anyway.
I
Yes,
will
okay.
say that I'm going to I've been telling everyone that the second video is this video that I've been working on about Grant Ellis Smith, but it's actually going to be the third video. I'm going to have a special video overnight tonight for everybody to kind of celebrate bringing peace to our land and having a Merry Christmas for everybody. So I'll have a second video tonight, and then hopefully within the next day or so you'll see the Grant video.
Amazing. Thank you.
Beautiful. Can I get just Jason to I was going to do it myself, but I'm brain dead right now. But I just wanted Jason to emphasize the importance of Melly coming in after we were rude to her last night and how we responded to her and so on, because this is all that needs to happen to the people who are still stuck in the "it's not my fault I was friends with him, it's your fault for telling us" kind of mentality.
Yeah, and I just want to be clear, right? So like my plan, I'm happy to talk about Adam and I'm happy to go through these things. What I don't want to do is I don't want to rehash everything we went through yesterday.
No,
and
I know.
last night.
I want to praise the way that we treated Melly and the way Melly received us, because that's the important part for for me.
Yeah, I agree. And honestly, I had a nice DM with Melly today after the fact, because we were able to connect because of last night's stream.
Yeah.
And I do really appreciate hearing from her and getting that information. And now I didn't know Melly. I really didn't know Adam. I didn't know a lot of people involved in this thing until we really got going. But I do understand the story, and I understand where that there had been prior issues with Melly, and a lot of that was, you know, this guy on the screen was at the center of that guy, not me. What he was at the center of, and it really was nice to see you guys, Shorty, you and Melly, able to make amends based on the fact that you kind of recognize the same thing, that you had gotten to the same point. And I want to bring up one other thing, is that I know this kind of happens to me all the time, right? So I see some of the commenters are mad about some of the pushback that happened today and everything else. The only thing I'm going to say is, with very few exceptions, I haven't seen anybody stand up and support Adam, right? So
No.
what I have seen people do is people tend to get into their camps and they support their friend kind of blindly. We see this blind reactive supporting, and it caused a couple people to be caught with their pants down in this particular case. But I also understand that people want to support their friends. And especially when it comes to communities as creators, I'm hearing two different things from people today. And one of them is, you know, this is my friend and you shouldn't be going after my friend. But the other one is from a lot of people, like, we don't know what to do because we like you and we like this other person and we don't want to be in the middle, and we feel really bad because we feel like we have to choose a side. And my answer to every one of those people is, no, you don't. Go and watch whatever content you want. I want you to watch. I don't want anyone. I put out a tweet thread today. I don't need OB to be deplatformed, and I don't need people to be going after each other. And I want everyone to have their watch who you want. I don't care if you watch Kate Peter and people on the other side of this case. So I have fundamental problems with, where some of these people that I think are evil, it's okay. Like, I'm okay with the fans. Make your own decisions about what content you want to watch, and you can come here and you can go there, and there's no loyalty oath that you have to take to watch a YouTube channel. Tonight's stream, we can still talk about Adam because this is important news, but I want to move beyond I want to move into a healing space for everybody, because everybody is affected by this. Even if you didn't know Adam, everybody is affected by seeing this creators get in fights with each other, regardless of how justified it is. At the end of the day, it's Christmas Eve tomorrow. It's Christmas Eve tonight, and Christmas Day the next day. I think it's time for us to move forward as a community and heal. And if that takes people ignoring each other or not talking to each other or whatever else, let's go for it. Let's focus our attention on the real scumbag who's sitting up there on the screen right now, who at the end of the day at least attempted to sexually assault a child, you know?
Can I just pause for a minute to say thank you so much to Sherry Leaf for gifting 10 Miss Shorty memberships. That's amazing, and that deserves a little bit of this. Welcome, new members. We have cool members only emotes in the chat. And thank you so much. That's really kind and generous. Thank you. Carry on.
No, I think it said everything I wanted to say anyway in regard to that. And just to circle back to the Melly thing, that was great because this is what I hope happens every time we do something like this. Every time we do these things, I really hope that we get to a spot where when you put out news like this, you want to hear from other people, because that's how you know, A, that you're on the right track, and B, that you're being effective, and C, that we can find other people, maybe beyond you and Melly, who have been victimized in some way by Adam and who have a similar story to tell. This is a place for people to be able to come forward and bring out that information or talk about your own experiences, because part of healing is getting through some of this and beyond some of this trauma, and you do that by airing it out.
Exactly. Thank you. Once again, Melly was very, very brave. We weren't receptive to her. We were pretty much attacking her when she first landed in the chat. But the second we realized, wait a minute, she's here for a reason to speak with us, we wound it back. We weren't attacking her anymore. We invited her up, and she was very brave to come up after the way we received her initially in the chat. And the point that I really wanted to make was that this is all the other people have to do, is just be receptive. You know, we can have conversations in private. We don't have to do it on live streams. We can have conversations in private if you're receptive. Just be receptive to the conversation and we can have them. And I think Shorty and I proved we're able to do that yesterday with Melly, and Melly proved that she's able to do that with us.
Yes,
I think
it was lovely.
Great. Yep.
It was lovely. And on that note, Melly's in the chat. I finally worked out where the hidden users were, because I'd blocked Melly from my channel when Adam orchestrated and told us both lies about each other and created that havoc. And
oh my
and
God,
I finally worked out
where it is, because I've lost users of myself.
I literally get so lost in the back end in YouTube Studio. But thank you, Melly, for your super chat. Also, that's really kind of you. Oh
Also,
my goodness!
When we're
Sorry,
done here, let's do a teach each other where this shitty session at the end when we hang up, because you need to know how to
portal.
How to portal your chat, and then I need to know how to unblock someone.
Absolutely. Hang on.
I'm terrified. I'm terrified because I've only uploaded one video. I'm going to upload a second one and another one. But when you start talking about all of this live streaming and everything that you have to do between having the streaming platform, whether it be Restream or StreamYard, and then on top of that, you have YouTube Studio in the background, and it sounds like a lot. It sounds like a lot.
Jason, we are here for you. So I helped Shorty kick off and get all her tech sorted out, and some of it was, you know, over her heads. Now we're helping each other. She's at that level where she can help me and I can help her. So we're both here for you.
Yikes.
Well, I appreciate that.
I'm a professional, obviously. I prove it every week with my muting of myself, swiping out of the screen, swiping back on the present screen. It's just part of my charm. It's iconic, Shorty.
That's funny.
Yeah, and I think the important thing is to realize that when you're going live, you're just being your human self. It's not a pre-recording. So if you make mistakes, you know, it's okay. The crowd is very forgiving. So that's also important to understand.
Absolutely.
By the way, Heather Taylor, I also agree that adulting is bullshit. That was a great comment. Thank you.
Oh, we reluctant adults unite. This is all we all very kicking and screaming. I'm almost 50 and I'm still like, no, where's the adult? I need an adult.
Yeah.
So
I didn't want to read Twitter today. I'm just getting like piled on, and you know, as as Jason said, you know, it's time to just have a Christmas and let it go. I'm just going to I'm just not even look at Twitter. Pile on, guys. Go for it. It's like, I'm not getting it. I'm not receiving it today and tomorrow.
So
It's
interesting
Christmas.
because yeah, I've been getting the pylon too on my own threads. I don't think anyone's piling on me on your threads. Wouldn't be surprising, but I've been kind of very proud of myself to just be able to respond, not react, to stay with the same message. And I think, Jason, you've seen a lot of my
I have.
replies, which have been basically just trying to be objective, to own the things that when people are like, yes, that's probably right. Yes, not probably, that's right. I own that. And just repeating the message, which is he preyed on and played all of us. We are all victims here, and I hope when the dust settles that everybody can kind of pass out the emotions around the hype that Adam Boyd uh, uh, sort of cultivated and fostered and put on certain people in one particular channel, and to pull apart from that and see that he was manipulating all of us and playing all of us, and that the anger and the frustration and the disappointment and the fury should be directed towards Adam, nobody else, you know. Some of the behaviors weren't acceptable, but it is what it is. It's done, and let's just all like stop dying on hills about behaviors that were ugly, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that, because I do I don't, you know, we shouldn't be misplacing the person that we should all be disgusted by is on the screen right now and not over here in the panel on the left. Sorry. But
Yeah, absolutely. I'll just tell you something really funny. It's totally off topic, but I just got struck for a video, a copyright strike for a video that's 3 years old.
that's what happens, right? So you start to, it starts to become a mission where people get on this. I would say that that's actually kind of the behavior that got us to where we are right now. So that, you know,
Probably.
everybody just put your swords down. All right. If you,
Yes.
we all understand that everyone likes the team that you're on. I feel like I'm on 12 teams, right? I always in every one of these situations, I have friends on all sides, right? And I never tell my friends who to be friends with, and I don't want them to tell me either. And everyone, for the most part, who's directly involved in this situation has been very good at that throughout this process, as far as I'm concerned, along, you know, to me. And I want that to be the case. But the truth of the matter is you end up with these brigades of followers who are commenters or whatever else. It's time to put the swords down, you know.
Yeah.
The creators are getting through this, and I appreciate everyone's concern for me if you're a follower of mine, but sometimes I just need to work through some things myself, you know, and this is one
Right,
of them.
we're all human. Can I also say that this idea that everything we do as a creator has to be related to Karen Reid or else it's irrelevant is just stupidity. All right. I have gavel to gavel followed many cases. In case y'all don't know, I've been doing it long before Karen Reid came along, and I'm going to gavel to gavel many more cases. It doesn't stop. It doesn't start and end with Karen Reid. And so there is always going to be content that's not Karen Reid. If that's not your thing, that's fine. If you're only here for Karen Reid content, then only press the play button when I'm doing Karen Reid content. But I'm not here specifically for Karen Reid, and I never claimed to be. And I don't know why people keep putting me in that basket, because I do have history on my channel where I have covered at least 5 previous cases before Karen Reid came up. And I feel the same with Will. He's been in this for as long as I have. I think he's probably had his channel a bit longer than I have. And he's covered a lot of stuff long before I came along. But I did notice Will like 5 cases ago when I first started my channel and started following Will back then on those cases, and he followed the same cases that I did all the way through. So he's just become a staple in my viewing of different cases. But if you're not a true crime person, you are only a Karen Reid person, then I can understand why you might criticize those of us who have come onto the Karen Reid case to cover it, gavel to gavel, as we've done with other cases. However, we're true crime. Okay, if it's a crime like this dude you're looking at on the screen right here, it's a crime. We're going to cover it. So hanging us because we're not covering Karen Reid specifically is really just your own ignorance and not understanding that there's a true crime community that's out there that existed before you came along.
Yeah, I think that's important, and I it's funny that you brought that up because I have the same kind of I have the same kind of criticisms that are coming at me today, where it really is the internet's a big place, right? Like there's 24 hours a day that are filled with content and a million places to get your content and see content and a million cases to cover. I've talked about other cases, but Shorty and I did a whole stream on neurodivergency that had nothing to do with crime or cases or whatever else, because we all have
Shorty, keep that on the screen because I've got something to say about that. Go on.
Yeah.
We all have we all have different interests and we can talk about a variety of things, and it's okay. And if you're a free Karen Reid person like I am, and like I know that you are, but if that's all you're here to consume, it's okay. One stream or another might not be for you, that's fine. Tune out. Mike Crawford probably is still going with his stream with Morris Stringer's wife right now. That's an important stream. So if you don't want to watch or hear about this pedophile that was exposed yesterday or anything but Karen Reid, I mean that's not Karen Reid either, but at least it's closer to you in terms of being in Boston and having these different things happen. So I'm okay if you go watch that. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch the playback of that when I get off this stream because that's something I want to see,
Yeah, exactly. Just in relation to Rachel's comment, that's not true because I don't tag anything. The only thing I tag in my title is what the subject's about. So if I am talking about Karen Reid, then it will be mass versus Karen Reid in my title. You'll always see that if it is that topic. If it's not that topic, then you won't see that in my title. So I'm very careful about what I tag and put in my descriptions.
That's very disingenuous and clickbaity if people are doing that. I'm the same. In my Let's Talk series, I tag difficult conversations, let's talk. And then if it's about neurodivergence, I'd say neurodivergence, AUADHD, those kind of things. In this one, there's nothing at all about Karen Reid. Like some creators may do that, and that's where people start to lose trust in creators because although according to Aiden Turtleboy, hashtags are not used anymore. Elon Musk reckons it as well. But I tell you, the things that if I tweet or even my videos, if I don't use hashtags, they don't get nearly as much visibility. Relevant hashtags, not clickbaity like lying hashtags. So,
and just to give you some comfort there, Rachel, we weren't saying, we understood you were being helpful there, but it's not true. I mean, they can say that, but you can look through my videos, you can see that it's not true. So
can I also say it's Melly's birthday today, so happy birthday, Melly.
Happy birthday, Melly.
I don't know if it's a good gift, but my gift to you is unhiding you from my channel. Like, you're welcome. It's the thought that counts, right?
Now you made Melly's birthday about you. All right.
Oh no.
I can't
happy birthday, Melly.
I can't sing at all, especially when I've just woken up. So happy birthday to you. Hippie birthday. So I think that it's important to look at the title of the video that you're watching, because if you expect, like, this is criticism we got with the reacting to the Glarers stream the other day. That was written in my title. It was also written in my description what we were doing. There was absolutely no hint that we were even going to talk about Karen Reid. But when we were finished and I looked over on Twitter, that's all that was being said. Nothing about Karen Reid yet. Karen Reid 0. Nothing said about Karen Reid. And I'm like, well, it wasn't in the title or the description. So why does it have to be like, it's like there's an expectation that we will only speak on that topic because that's all we're given permission to speak about.
I don't even know if it's that. I actually think a lot of people joined Twitter or just started watching YouTube as a result of the publicity from this trial. So that's, in their head, this is why I'm here. So the content creators I follow, this must be what they're talking about. And then when you're not, all of a sudden there's a problem. But you know, maybe I didn't have a YouTube channel. I did have a Twitter for years and years, and I've talked about all kinds of topics, including politics, including true crime, including other things for years before before John O'Keefe was ever killed, right? So
exactly.
And I'm sure when this trial is resolved or whatever else, I'm still going to be talking about things, you know. So it really is. It is interesting. It's not. I do want to talk more about Karen Reed too. That's another thing. Is I do end
Yes.
up in a lot of these side stories, and
Well,
but this,
apparently, if you don't live in Massachusetts, you're not allowed to cover the Karen Reed topic. I'm being sarcastic.
I think I
obviously.
get a pass because I'm from Massachusetts and I live really close. So I think I get.
You get a pass, Jason.
Well, am I
Amber
allowed
made it-
to say that because my co-host is originally from Massachusetts? Do I get a pass for that?
I think that by
yes,
association, yes, and
yes.
me too. Like, same. We're all good. Amber says an interesting thing: sea lining, trolling that involves asking disingenuous questions, pretending to be sincere and civil, feigning and pretending to be civil and sincere, feigning ignorance of the subject matter, pursuing people with relentless requests for evidence. Oh, I
Oh,
feel that in my bones.
Amber,
you're
this is like, it's like you've just read every person commenting to me on Twitter for the most part. 90% of the people commenting to me.
You just took the words out of my mouth. I was going, are you reading my ex posts or what?
Literally, I wrote a 7,000 word article on Sean and the Gulf, and people every day are saying to me, yes, but Sean was mole hunting. And I'm like, no, like, just look at the text message. Don't even read my 7,000 words. Just look at the pictures in my article, and it shows you all of these things that you're saying are incorrect. And I've already addressed it all. But I try to be patient with people, and but I get really mad. This happened to me yesterday, where someone asked me a question, and even though I look at the question and I say you should already know the answer, but I never want to assume, so I start explaining it, and then I see them. I get a notification pop up while I'm, a lot of times I have multiple devices. I have my phone in my hand and it's up on my screen on my computer. And I see a notification pop up that the person, retweeted somebody calling me a predator while I'm answering their question. Like I'm in the middle of answering the question and they retweeted somebody else calling me a predator. And I'm like, oh, I guess I don't need to give you the time to explain this topic to you or answer your question because the whole thing was freaking disingenuous. So Law Nerd Amber, thank you for the term. I never heard of it that way before, but I'm going to be talking about sea lions so much people are going to think I work in an aquarium.
I actually hadn't heard the term sea lining, and I'm a bit of a geek when it comes to oh my god, the word just jumped out of my head. Those sort of things.
Online terminology. I think would be
no. It's when you're arguing, like people use red herrings or they use. But sea lining is one I haven't heard of before. I don't know why the terminology has just jumped out of my head. It's because I just woke up. Okay.
This is a good point by Seller Unicorn. Most creators become more relevant to a wider audience because of the free Karen Reed coverage. So it's probably a subconscious expectation. I would agree with that. We're just sorry.
No, that happens with any popular topic. Like I think Will got a larger audience because he covered the Summer Wells topic. I only got an audience because I covered the Summer Wells topic. Does anybody here even know who Summer Wells is? Probably not. So
I do.
Yes, you do, Shorty. So Will knows who Summer Wells is. Put a 1 in the chat if you know who Summer Wells is. I just want to, since I raised the topic, if those who don't know, this little girl is still missing. So it's worth your while to go and look up the Summer Wells topic. But for Pete's sake, do not look it up on freaking YouTube, because YouTube absolutely went nuts on this topic. If you want to see how YouTube creators can destroy a search for a child, go and look up the Summer Wells topic. There is everything out there from the cartel kidnapped her to trade her for drugs to there's a tunnel underneath the house to, you know, it just goes on and on. The most ridiculous crap you could think of in your head. That's what came up in the Summer Wells topic. We actually had a catch the flag, OSINT catch the flag competition. They normally don't cover children because they don't have an online footprint. And that's the point of OSINT. Like it's got to be people who have an online footprint that you can follow and see where their last activities were and so on. So in OSINT catch the flag events, there's lots of them out there, but it's like the whole world of computer geeks come together and see if they can find a missing person. But for the first time ever, the crew that do these competitions decided they would put a child into it because obviously all the parents and people who had contact with have online footprints. So we did they did a catch the flag event for Summer Wells, but they couldn't catch the flags because there was so much crap on the internet that wasn't even true about the case. So that's why it's one still close to my heart. Like I said, she's still missing, but it's because everyone created all these red herrings and nobody actually knows what is truth about the case and what isn't truth about the case. So if you're following it, only follow the creators like who actually give you facts and not those who are giving you pie in the sky conspiracy theories that have absolutely nothing to do with the case. So there's a very few of them, trust me, they're actually following the case. So there you go. Some people had
Amber said before about the sea lion thing, which I, when you think about it, a sea lions just bark at you. They don't care what you have to say back, which is that's
logical
cool.
fallacy. Thank you. You just reminded me what it's called. It's a logical fallacy.
Of course, it was colours with the zinger. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, colours.
So there's a bit of a fair mix between ones and twos. A lot of ones, but a lot of twos.
I was a 0. I didn't know you didn't give the other option, so I just picked 0.
Absolutely. If Taryn was here, she would have given us 69, but she's not. So I'll give Taryn the honorary 69.
Yeah.
I am.
Sorry.
It's funny, but you were just talking about Aussie. We actually saw this even prior to YouTube really being a factor here in the John Benet Ramsey case. You know what I mean? So there was so much misinformation that was put out there and so many conspiracy theories by so many people who really had no business being given a platform to spin them that it became impossible. I almost think that people will use it as a strategy now where we see things happening even in the Karen Reed case where people muddy the waters, the fake text message that was supposedly between Karen Reed and Yannetti. There's all of this, the videotape from the convenience store, Peckwood Side Farms or whatever, like all of these things that we're told that we're going to see or that we're going to hear about or that we're going to do. And they're not even real. Like these things don't even exist. And they've been thrown into the mix of misinformation. And I saw it happen. It's not always intentional. I saw it happen live. We were watching a court hearing for Aidan Carney. And oh no, I'm sorry. It was the Karen Reed voir dire for the Daubert hearing. Sorry for what's her name, Marie Russell. That was just happening. And after the lunch break, there was a noise in the court, and people obviously reacted. I was watching on Melanie Little's channel when that occurred, and somebody in the comments on Melanie Little's channel said, "Oh, Lindsay Gaetani walked into the court, and Aidan and Meredith were forced to leave." Now, I was like, this is really weird because we have this scenario where Aidan doesn't have to leave if he's in a court because his order doesn't apply. But it went from, right away, I'm like, this doesn't sound right. So, of course, I messaged them directly. But while I was waiting for a reply, it was on Twitter in like 10 seconds. And people were talking about it like it was fact. And what it turned out to be, according to Christina Rex, was somebody forgot to turn off their cell phone ringer. And so there was a noise in the court. So you heard the bailiff say, like, quiet in the court or this or whatever else. And it just became this wildfire thing across the internet where I saw it go from one comment. I saw it live. And all of a sudden it was all over Twitter. It was exploding and people were talking about it everywhere. And I'm like, wait. Slow down.
Hey, can I
Because
just add to that? Because, like,
yeah,
this is the interesting thing is that Kate Peters has been in this true crime community stirring up this crap for a long time, long before Karen Reid case. And she's
Yep.
actually really experienced at this whole let's create this conspiracy. They will all
Yes.
get into the background and together cook up what the conspiracy is, how it's going to hook in the audience, and how it's going to be perpetuated. They'll cook it up, like they will deliberately sit back there and plan out how they're going to put this conspiracy out there about this case. So
Right.
just you guys know she's very experienced at this, not just with the Karen Reid case.
Right, and that's what it is. It's so a lot of times when we see it, so sure that first thing we saw on Melly's channel was probably literally just somebody making an assumption and they threw it out there. That was a case of it happening innocently, but we see it happening on purpose. People do this as a strategy, and it's kind of ridiculous, right? Because it's a short-term strategy because the truth is going to come out. So they knew when they made up that lie about the text message between Yannetti and Karen Reid that eventually someone's going to tell you that that's not true. But all they need to do is they need to score a short-term win to change the conversation, to get people to talk about something else, to get to diminish her support, to do all of these things. They don't care. They don't care that ultimately it's going to be found out because there's no consequences for them, right?
That's right. There is no consequences. They just keep going. Another good example of that is Blowhorn Betty, JLR. They're experienced
You're
at
absolutely right.
they're very experienced at creating not just the drama, because they know the drama is what attracts an audience. Unfortunate thing about audiences is the vast majority do want drama. But they're very good at drumming that drama up and getting people to follow along and creating the conspiracy theories. And even I remember one of the Summer Wells things, they actually all got together as a team and then they all fell apart because they're all just dickheads. But that was pretty funny to watch. But even just that drama of how they all came together as a team on Summer Wells and then they all fell apart before, within a very short period of time, because they are also drama. Even that drama, like, it was hilarious. I don't recommend you go watch it, but it was hilarious watching it unfold.
Okay, so Heather, I know a little bit about this because, believe it or not, this was all the same people that were covering the rape case in Texas that I talk about a lot. And the guy's name was Merb or Merbeast.
Yeah,
And
he's on
Kate,
my channel for those who don't know. Kate Peters saying that to him.
yeah, so yeah, Kate Peters, it's Kate Peter, by the way, not Peters, but she she definitely had this situation where she filed a fake. She copied a court case, because what happens with YouTube when you do a copyright claim, if someone basically comes back and fights the claim, YouTube will turn around and say, well, you need to file suit if you want to pursue this. The person denied your copyright claim.
It was a federal document that she copied too.
Right. So she took a copy of someone else's suit for YouTube for copyright infringement. She changed the caption of the case to make her name be in there, and make Turtle Boy's name be in there, because it was a case involving Aiden Carney, and she never changed the docket number. So anyone that took the docket number and looked it up could see the original case, that it didn't have anything to do with Kate Peter. She just copied it, and she tried to lie about what she had done, or minimize it. And then she got caught live by Merb, who's an attorney who covers some of these cases, specifically around the First Amendment auditor arena. And she got caught live because she minimized what she did and was like, she made it seem to be inadvertent. And then
It's okay because I hate Turtle Boy.
Right.
And if you hate Turtle Boy too, it's okay to forge a federal document. Okay.
Sorry, let me get a drink here.
So yeah, you're right. She minimized.
I'm sorry. I just want to say hi to Britt Happens, because I saw that she came up. Hi, Britt.
Yes.
Britt, I was on Britt's channel yesterday. She's a fairly new content creator. Talks a lot about the First Amendment and the Karen Reid space. And Britt's great. She's lovely. So if you have a chance, you can go visit Britt Happens.
Yes,
Hi,
please do. Yes, one of my mods will drop Brit's link in the chat. Pierre asked an interesting question. This is a broader topic, but if the internet is so involved with court cases, how do we manage it? And she's followed it up with another. Hang on. This is a thesis level topic. Everything from Murdoch to Karen Reid has been influenced, and our lies are way behind. What do you think, you two?
Personally,
yeah, you go
I
ahead.
the only way to combat that is to be a channel that's responsible and only put out the facts. So, you know, one of the stories we heard from the two victims yesterday was this planning behind the scenes. How are we going to turn this into an ordeal and upset everybody? How do we do that? So channels who don't cover the facts, that's generally what they're doing. They're in the background brainstorming how to get the viewers and how to make an ordeal out of something to get the viewers. We didn't plan to do that ourselves. We actually got some facts and said, here's the facts. And if you're going to criticize us for putting out the facts, we're going to criticize you right back. So that was quite the opposite of sitting there going, how are we going to get clicks and views? So that certainly wasn't anything that we discussed anywhere along the way. You know, let's make our title more clickbaity. Let's make our description more clickbaity. When we put it on the Twitterverse, let's make it more clickbaity. That's not in our that's not part of what we're doing. But I think that creators can be responsible and say, this is a fact, and the only way I know it's a fact is because I found this document, and here's the document that I found. Just show your receipts. If it's a fact, you got receipts. If it's not a fact, it's just someone flapping their gums and they're not showing you receipts, then take it as a grain of salt. That's how viewers can discern facts and not give the following to people who are doing that, like just blah, 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 but they don't got no receipts. Don't follow them. And then what becomes popular is those who have receipts. And then the more that those channels see that other channels are getting popular because they show their receipts, the more they realize, oh, this is how you get the audience, you show your receipts. So I think that we can lead the way as creators, showing other creators that receipts are actually more popular.
Well, and so I want to chime in here. I don't know why I have this. Sorry, give me a minute.
I'm so used to it. I'm so used to it, man. Usually it's me,
I know.
my cheese throat all the time. Vapes are good for you. It can't be the vaping.
I do want to chime in here though, because I think that Pierre also was talking about how we manage this, you know, in the court system, because this is a problem, right? So we have this issue where we have this online misinformation that's filtering its way into trials itself and actually doing an interference. And here in the US, we have our, and you have a similar but different free speech rights in Australia. And here in the US, we have our First Amendment. And it really is a slippery slope and it's a question for the ages, right? Because we see this happening in multiple trials, but we also have, you know, our founding document, the Constitution of the United States, that protects our ability to speak, with very narrow exceptions. So it really, actually, seeing Britt here, we had a whole First Amendment conversation in her chat yesterday. But it really is a problem, and the law is struggling for what to do. You see, Auntie Bev, we talked about the buffer zone when I was on with Britt yesterday. They've created this buffer zone for in-person speech, but we also have all of this online speech going on, and judges really can't, here in the US, prevent us from talking about it. They can't, and they can't even prevent us from talking about it incorrectly and giving misinformation or being mistaken or doing any of these things. So there really is I don't know how we're gonna resolve these issues other than
I think leading by example within our communities is a good way to go about it. Like, I believe that if you rely on the government to make a law so that you can't do a specific thing, then that's all you're going to do is always rely on laws and more laws. And I don't believe that the government should be making more and more laws. Like in Australia, we actually measure the success of one government over another by how many laws they introduce. If they are leading the way in the number of laws they introduce during their term, they're actually sitting at the top of the list. I hate that. I think we need to lead by example. If in my own like home community here, people I actually in real life hang out with, if someone says something that we don't agree with, it's one thing to go, oh, that's my friend, I'll just let them say that. Or it's another thing to say, I don't agree with that because XYZ. But you set the example, what you will allow into your space. Basically, you set the example by what you allow others around you and yourself to say and do. So this is why I say, if we as creators set the example and we say, this channel doesn't care about the truth because they're not showing their receipts. How did you find this truth? Someone told me. Well, does someone told me over, here's the document, I'll show you the document that I got it from, or someone sent me this document, here's the document, which way it happens. If you can put your money where your mouth is, show people the money, then I think you're setting the example and other people will follow along. So,
well, I actually agree with you in terms of what our role in that should be, right? And I think
right,
that
rather than relying on laws for it to happen.
in First Amendment jurisprudence here, there's a famous quote that the remedy for speech that you disagree with or bad speech is more speech, right? So it does take a community of us to be able to go out and say, hang on a minute, this person's showing you information. It happens to me, right? People call me a predator. They call me, they will sometimes get more defamatory and call me a pedophile, and they say all of these things about me. None of them ever have any receipts, of course, because those things aren't true. But
Yeah.
they just come out and say them. The only thing I can do is either sue them for defamation, which is about at a minimum about a $10,000 prospect here, or I can just simply say, well, no, that's not true, and you don't have any receipts, so come and do that. And the more people that do those kind of call outs like I'm willing to do, the better for everybody, because the bottom line is I feel free. I have no problem with investigate me. I want you to, because there's nothing for you to find. And it's better than making the smear without evidence that people can't combat. Because let's face it, I'm a middle-aged white male who volunteers with charities that deal with children and all kinds of other things. The worst thing you can say about me is that I'm a pedophile. But when you say it without evidence, luckily I'm established enough and I've been around enough and I've done things. People aren't buying it. And if they do, shame on them. Because at the end of the day, bring the receipts. We brought the receipts yesterday. And that's what people should do. I hope everybody vets me.
Yep, as a viewer, you need to say that. Where's the receipts? I'll believe you, but show us where you got the information from.
Right.
So it's viewers that will drive that. It's not necessarily creators who are going to drive it. So long as we stick to the program, then viewers will start saying, it's fine and dandy that you're saying it. It's the viewers that give us our numbers and our popularity and whatever it is. So the viewers need to start saying, look, I'm either the type of person who believes whatever comes out of somebody's mouth without receipts, that's fine. Go follow those channels. Or if you're following gavel to gavel cases, then follow those who actually are showing receipts. We're either showing you the court documents or the legal documents or whatever comes of OSINT searches. Or we're just talking about things. So there's two types of creators there. And free speech does cover both of those types of creators. But it's up to you as the audience to choose which one you're going to follow. And I do believe over time that more people will be following those who have receipts. Indeed, Scott Turtleboy is the master of receipts. And the only reason I believe the stuff that he says, because I see his receipts. People showed me his receipts. I checked his receipts. So I don't just take... here's a receipt. I also go and check where that receipt came from. And every time I checked Turtleboy, it came up to be true. Like I found the receipts that he found. So I didn't just blindly believe everything that he said. And even though he did have receipts, I checked them. So he's become a credible journalist in my book because I did double check everything that he said. That's also a role for creators, certainly not for the audience, but that is a role for creators.
I just wanted to say thank you. Some people have gifted some memberships over the last little while, and thank you very much, Michelle. And there was a couple of other, I think Joseph gifted a couple out too. So thank you. Carry on, Jason.
I'm really trying to keep up with the chat. I never do this. I miss everything in chat, but you're putting a lot up tonight, so it's good. I'm seeing them. And I forgot who it was, so I'm sorry if I don't get your name right, but someone did say that. Oh, Jam Pots, yes, talking
Yes.
about that is
Defamation?
actually defamation, right? And
Yes.
I agree with you, but let's use the example of Grant Smith Ellis, right? So Grant talks about me every single day. He says that I conspire with Kate Peter and that I'm her mole and that I work against Turtle Boy. And Grant has said some purely defamatory comments about me. Grant also goes online very regularly, maybe once a week, and begs for money to buy coffee and begs for gas money to get from one place to another because he doesn't have any money. So, in order for me to sue Grant Ellis Smith for defamation, or Grant Smith Ellis, sorry, I have to take $10,000 out of my own pocket and hire an attorney and go and do these things. And even if I win, the chance of me collecting any kind of money from Grant Smith Ellis, who doesn't have any money, is very low. So
On
it
top of all
creates a
that,
situation where there's not much I can do about the fact that Grant defames me because I can't spend so many people defame me every day. I can't spend $10,000. I have 1 million kids. They get my money
Oh,
first. I can't spend $10 million to go after people who are defaming me on the internet.
on top of that, there's also a how do you prove a negative? Like someone can say something out of thin air, but you don't have any evidence to disprove that because it's a thin air claim. It's
Yep.
not based on anything, so you don't have counteracting evidence. Much less do they have evidence to prove their claim. But just out of curiosity, just so that the audience knows, when it's written on the internet, it's slander, and then when it's said in a video or by your mouth, it's actually defamation, and it's a civil case, just so that everybody understands that in the audience. Not criminal. So
Right. So when it's
yes.
written, it's actually when it's written, it's libel, and when it's spoken, it's slander. Right. So those are the two forms of defamation. So written defamation is called libel, a written defamatory statement, and spoken defamation is called slander.
thank you for fixing my brain.
You're welcome.
I'm brain dead today.
What you can't see is I quickly switched to a different tab to check myself because I thought I was wrong.
No, thank you for correcting me. I am fair warning. I just woke up and I need at least 17 coffees before my brain's in gear. So
Sure. Scott, Kevin's invited Scott McGuinness onto chat. Scott McGuinness, if you'd like to chat, come up on, you're more than welcome. We're just hanging and banging and chatting. So do you want to, Scott?
Scotty's a house guest on Aussie Insider. For those who don't know, he's boots on the ground. He's very much personally involved in boots on the ground. And this is why I don't take offense to people who say, but you're not even in Massachusetts. It's because I do actually have the support of many boots on the ground in Massachusetts. So Scotty's one of them. Tommy, who was in the chat just earlier, he's also another one. And anybody who wants to say that Scotty and Tommy are not boots on the ground are clearly not watching with their eyes open. Esty is another one. We do have all of their support to be talking about the Karen Reid case if it comes down to permission.
It doesn't, but everybody has permission.
Right.
It's a ludicrous thing to say though, because surely the more eyes, the more ears, the more interest on any case that's controversial or concerning can only help the person at the center of it and the people. So Officer John O'Keefe and Karen Reid, like it's that territorial sort of xenophobia is wild to me.
And even when we go back to the defamation concept and I use Grant as the example, I don't want Grant to be silenced, frankly. I really don't. I want him to be out there lying every day and saying what he does and doing what he does, because that gives me something to contrast myself with. So I can go and say, here are the receipts about Grant.
Do you have a way to send it to him, Shorty? Because I do if you don't.
I sent it to him on Messenger just now.
Yeah, cool. Sorry, Jason.
No, it's okay. But for me, like without that counterfoil, right? Without those people on the other side who are doing things like, it's harder for me to differentiate myself from them. So I need the bad examples as much as I need the good ones.
Right.
Law Nerd Amber coming in with another zinger. What Aussie just described is called fallacies of relevance.
Thank God we have a
Yeah.
logic. Thank God we have a logic person in the audience because I'm the worst at all of those.
Amber is amazing. I've been friends with Amber for a long time. She's a good woman. She's a smart woman, and I'm proud to call her my friend.
And the
And my moderator. Oh,
Lorna part of her name is that she is actually a member of Emily D. Baker's Law Nerds. So that's why I like her too. That's
Actually,
how we're
nice. Scotty's in the house. Not
Hey.
backstage. You're on center stage, Scotty. Good to see you.
hey Scott,
Hey, hi everybody. Hi Jason.
what's happening?
Merry Christmas to everybody.
You too.
And to you, sir.
Just
You
so
know,
you know,
and
Scotty,
I know like even Miss Shorty here, Lisa, she's talking about how Christmas is a tough time for her. And it is for a lot of people. It's a joyous time and families get together and giving your kids presents and all that. But for some people, Christmas can be very difficult.
It's true.
Yes. I think when that's why it's nice to have these sit down conversations. It kind of takes some of our minds off the crap that's going on, whether it's right now BS or whether it's our general sort of heaviness around this time of year. So yeah, it's always very helpful.
Scotty, I just popped a message into private
Yes,
chat.
I saw that. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, but all this infighting in the Free Karen Reed movement between all these creators, it's been a lot. It's been upsetting. As you know, everybody knows here, I have wrenches across multiple platforms, and I'm kind of like Mr. Neutral in all of this. And I don't want to get involved in all the drama. And I enjoy a lot of creators, and maybe they're not all everybody's cup of tea. But I'm just hoping that everybody can adult here and just get over the BS.
I feel exactly the same way, Scott. I try to do that, which is why, as you know, like I came down on last Monday night, and I knew that some of the positions that I was taking online were in direct conflict with some of the people that felt strongly about things there. But I wanted to come and say my piece, and I wanted to show up and support people. And I'm not going to say who, but on Monday night, I had a conversation with somebody who is not a fan of Aiden Carney, and they were talking about not coming to court. And I know there was some pressure for people to do that or whatever. And I had a whole conversation about why I support Aiden Carney, and being the same reason that I support Karen Reed, because my principles don't allow me to stand aside when people are wrongfully accused of a crime, even if I don't like the person. And I did notice somebody that the night before said they weren't coming showed up. And it really made me feel good if I even had, I'm assuming that my conversation with that person maybe had a small role in that. And it made me feel good, because at the end of the day, I respect everyone having different opinions and things like that, but there are some things that are based on principles that are more important. So I'm okay with everybody not being best friends. But at the end of the day, if you're a principled person and you're going to go stand up for someone that you don't even like, that to me is a sign of true character. And that's why I really, really respect the people on the ground, regardless of what their opinions are, because at the end of the day, like me, I see a bunch of people that are standing up for someone that they didn't even know in Karen Reed, and somebody that they may not like in Aiden Carney. And that to me just comes with just such a great respect for people who do the unpopular things,
Well, I mean, a lot of bad has happened. Lies been put out. The infighting. Look at Sean McDonough. All the problems he caused. There was people loyal to him. That caused a lot of problems, even boots on the ground and Free Karen Reed, when that whole Sean McDonough, let's leave him in the rearview mirror thing happened, because there was people loyal to him.
Yep.
So it's and this whole thing with Lisa and what's gone on here, and apparently she was with a very toxic person that's been backstabbing her, and some people got polarized and were taking sides, and I just want all the drama to end. I'm Free Karen Reed. That's why I'm here. That's my mission.
I actually get this a lot, right? So I get people that, oh, you're just here to support Turtle Boy, or you're just here to do this. And and you just like the drama. Actually, even Aiden Carney said it once that, oh well, Haley now covers all the ratchets. That's what he said, right? And well, no, actually, I want to cover the more Stringer case, and I want to cover just en route, and I want to cover all of these things that are these serious cases. I want to talk about Karen Reed more. And yes, I have become embroiled in talking about some of this drama everywhere because I try to make a difference. I try to move past it. I try to solve things. I try to have a conversation about it and bring everyone to the table so we can all agree to either work on what our common ground is or move past it or do whatever we can do, because I think some of this stuff hangs around and remains toxic, and I would rather get through it. That's my style. But I so agree with you in the sense that I don't want the drama either, but sometimes the drama is going to come to you whether you like it or not. And when that happens, that's when I say, with your example with Sean on the Gulf. With Sean on the Gulf, I talked to that guy for 3 weeks before I ever said a word about him publicly. Because I was doing everything I could do to prevent that from occurring. And I wish that too. That's my Christmas wish, right? Is that we could move beyond the drama, that people didn't embroil themselves into somebody else's breakup drama, and that we could not have it be about I'm on your side or I'm on the other side. I'm friends with, with the exception of one person who I didn't know at all in this. I'm friends with almost everybody mixed up in it. I'm friends with almost I was friends when it happened with Neck Rocco and Turtle Boy. I was, I don't like it either. I want to move past it. But the reality of life is that sometimes it's going to happen and sometimes it takes a little push to get by it. And that's what I'm hoping today's stream was about versus yesterday when we broke this.
I also add to all of this that some people have been taking blows for months before we said anything. It's not like we drew the first sword. Do you know what I mean? We're simply defending what I feel.
Behind the scenes, yes.
It was all happening. Everyone was doing it. And no, it was even on streams. Other people were doing it on their streams. What we responded to was not them specifically. We responded to some victims coming forward and saying, this is what happened to me. And then we let the victims speak. So if people want to drag us for that, that's fine. We let the victims speak. That's to me, that's my role as a creator. If a victim comes forward and says, I need a voice, I'm going to give them a voice. And if people are going to hang me for that, that's fine. I'm not asking anyone to choose sides. I'm going to give victims a voice every time.
And that happened with Melly last night too. So that's a perfect example of it, bringing that back around, because that's exactly what happened.
Exactly what happened.
To me, it's not. This isn't drama. Like, there's been drama around this. It's turned into ridiculous drama. But at the core of it all is that through that drama, through our, a collective of people who knew that there was something not quite right here, and that there was something bigger afoot. This felt very nefarious. We have then uncovered the real issue, and that's what we're sharing. And so it's important to know that these kind of stir up dramas, interpersonal breakup bullshit stuff, could actually be a deeper issue, that if you think about it and don't just pile on and get on with the side taking, that there might actually, and there quite possibly, particularly stuff that was really vile, that why would anybody do something like that unless they were a really bad person? And that's what we've uncovered. I think that's important to note as well.
There's something really important that you just said too, is when you talk about how these things get to a point to where it's a bigger issue, and that's what happened here, obviously, right? We found this information out about Adam that was huge. Sometimes these issues get to the point to where they're so big that it really does become like the lead up to this, and we start, both sides start talking about, well, this is your fault and this is your fault. We're beyond fault. We're not to the point anymore where it matters whose fault it was. I mean, that was the point of my thread today, was I did want to let everyone off the hook on that one aspect of this, is that no, it's Adam's fault. You know what I mean? And all of this unnecessary stuff that happened before is unfortunate, but we're beyond worrying about who threw the first punch, who did these, none of that matters anymore. We found a really serious problem and we're bringing it forward because everybody needs to know. And I'm going to own something right now. Did I need to take a dunk on Oblivious Benson because of the Adam news? No, I didn't. I did it on purpose. I did it because she came at me, but more importantly, because she threatened to dox people who had nothing to do with it. So
Yeah, people think that we're the ones starting it, but she deletes what she's already said. She already said all this stuff and did all this stuff. We were responding. We weren't.
But let me just get through this. So I took a turn on her on purpose because she set it up as such that she went to dox people and bragged about how she was the queen of OSN and how she literally does this for a living. And the timing happened to be right at the same time that we found out this information. And sure, I let her feel it for a day because she put herself in that position. But do I think she's responsible for what Adam did or knowing or no, I don't. I really don't. And the only reason that I let it hang out there for a day is because she put herself in that position, and I wanted to let her feel what that was like, because frankly, she probably needs to humble herself a little bit and not she approached things the wrong way, and she just was attacking everybody. And I let it sit out there for a day that if she's going to brag about her abilities, then she should be held to be responsible for what she's saying.
Right. And the word drama is minimizing what we did yesterday. It wasn't drama. Don't minimize it. We were letting the women folk know that there's someone out there preying on the women folk of the FKR movement. That's what we were doing. So let's not minimize it by using the word drama. Sorry, I have just cut everyone off. I'm sorry, Shorty.
That's okay. I was just going to say that also in terms of it being like just drama, and it's like YouTube drama or free Karen Reid drama, which I disagree. For me personally, and for I think a lot of my friends, and also a lot of the flying monkeys, the people that Adam drew in very closely to execute this whole targeted engineered sort of pylon, it's affected us in a very real way. Like, it's affected my sleep for the last month. I've barely had any sleep. It's affected it's affected my mental health. It's really weighed heavily that this has all been going on. So drama doesn't necessarily do that. People jump into drama because they like the tea and they like the drama. There's none of that in any of this. If I would not wish this on my worst enemy, I wouldn't. So I think that's an important distinction, that maybe all these people who forget that these aren't just typing names in a chat. These aren't just a face, a torso on the screen. Like, we're real people, all of us, and it has a real life consequence. And also from my business point of view, like, call me a grifter all you like, but I'm putting in, and Aussie and Jason and Scott, we're putting out long hours of our own time, and to have this kind of behavior going on, the drama was having a direct impact on both my ability to provide the kind of content that I've come to be known for, sort of light and breezy and stuff. It's heavily affected my reputation on Twitter. I'm being same as Aussie. We're being hammered. I've been hammered for 72 hours.
That's the point of doing it. They want our audience to go away from us. That's the point of
absolutely. Absolutely. And that's disgusting. And people who are buying into that are forgetting that we're real humans, providing entertainment or company or community or information or all of the above. And that's kind of sad.
Scott,
yes, go.
Can I just say to Scott, VDOT is very apologetic for what he did yesterday, just so you know that.
It's okay.
Very apologetic. And
believe me, I make my mistakes all the time, and I'll own them. But
same.
To understand my background, I obviously a lot of people here know my background in criminal justice, but mainly I've been a turtle rider for years. And when Aiden broke story one on this Karen Reid framing case, I had retired from law enforcement, worked in the courts, knew criminal justice system, knew the corruption. And when I saw it, I recognized it right away. And I was like, hell yeah, they're not getting away with this. They're not going to frame Karen Reid. And that's what, brought me to the front lines with Free Karen Reid people to fight this. And then since then, I got involved in YouTube and got involved on these shows because, especially in the beginning of the Free Karen Reed movement, we were trying to get the word out to the world of what was going on. So, and any and every creator that would talk about the Free Karen Reed case, we were all for it because the mainstream media was shadow banning the truth. And, you know, without YouTube, or maybe even Twitter, which I don't delve in. The public
Wise.
wouldn't know. The public wouldn't know what's going on. They would have no idea.
Right. And I just want to say the reason that I covered the case is it was pertinent to me. Like, I think the thing that caught me is kind of like an auditor kind of perspective, but people started getting arrested for shit. That's what caught my attention. But the point that, to Scott's point, it's about, like, if the world is watching a specific sub-government running amok and the world says, hey, we're noticing that, the entire world is saying we're noticing that, it comes from
Sorry, I don't know what I did. Wait. What did I just do? What did I just do? Where is everybody?
I don't know.
Hang on.
I'm still here.
I'm still here.
No, you're not on the screen though. Wait. Hang on.
So
I'm removing.
I'll keep talking while you sort it out,
Yes,
Shorty.
yes.
Don't stress.
I didn't press anything.
So to Scott's point, yeah, the world is watching, and that's the point of having Australians, UK, South Africa. I mean, I can't even wrap my head around how much of the world has taken notice of this. So, and that's the benefit of YouTube. When you do have a rogue government doing rogue things, then you've got pressure on those leaders to actually do something about it. I know it's.
I'm sorry, Aussie. Can I just pause 1 second? I'm going to remove them both from stage. I think that's the only way I can do it. And boys, can you rejoin with the link? Is that all right? Sorry, I'm a professional.
Yeah,
carry on.
sure.
Sorry.
I'm good either way.
All right. Do you want me to continue talking while you sort it out, Shorty?
I don't know why they're not coming up. Like,
That's all
why?
right.
Yeah, can you guys rejoin? Is that okay? Sorry, can you go out and rejoin? Thank you. Sorry. Hi, it's me. I'm the problem.
We're professionals
Carry
here.
on. We are professionals. Hang on, wait. That requires something. Wait, hang on. Pause. Okay, I think I've got this. Oh my God. Why? Why are they
you don't-
gone? Why is it though? Everything's the same. Everyone's the same. There's no.
Here I am.
Oh wait, there's Jason. Hang on.
There's Scott.
But now we're all over the side like weirdos. Can I move you around like this?
Like weirdos.
Oh my
I'm
God.
not going to say anything. I'm the most boomer mod there is. I couldn't run. I can be a guest on a stream, but I can't run one.
Why? It's done it again. Oh my God. I didn't even click anything.
Do you want us to stay here while you go out and come back in to reset your controls?
Maybe that's a good idea.
It should
Wait.
stay like.
Hey! Look, I did it like I did it on purpose. I knew exactly what I was doing. This is because I'm a
There we
known
go.
YouTuber. There you go, the universe. Thank you. Carry
That's
on
funny.
as you were.
Yeah, I think I got to the point anyway. To Scott's point, the world's watching, and that's what makes your leaders double check themselves.
Right.
Yeah, well, I mean, from my point of view is, you know, a very black tea. The government is corrupt, and I believe there's a lot of corruption, and that's been hard for some people to grasp. Like the DA Morrissey and his state police detective troopers covering up the murder of John O'Keefe that happened in Officer Brian Albert's house. So, you know, initially, Free Karen Reed movement, you know, we look nuts, but I think a lot more people now can kind of see it from our point of view. I hope.
Well, you know,
Yes.
I gotta say, like, it's only anecdotal, right? But I'm also up here in New England, and everywhere I go, like, there's no way. I can't tell you how many police officers come have a conversation with me. I actually, when I was there Monday and Tuesday of last week, and I was coming home on Tuesday night, I actually got pulled over by a Connecticut state trooper after I had crossed the line because I was speeding, and I don't normally get pulled over for speeding because they haven't been paying much attention, but apparently they started paying attention again. So I got pulled over. I got a warning. I didn't get a ticket, so that was nice. But the police officer came up and he asked me where I was coming from, and I said, "Oh, I was covering a court case in Massachusetts." He's like, "Oh, are you a journalist?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "What court case was it?" And I said, "Well, it was Aiden Carney. I was covering one of his cases." He goes, "Wait, Turtle Boy?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Oh." He goes, "Do you cover the Karen Reed trial?" And I said, "Yeah." And sure enough, another second police officer in a row who wanted to give me his theory about everything that happened, and they don't think she did it either, and I keep stories like this keep happening over and over and over again. The funny thing is I've never run into one person in the wild that has told me they think Karen Reed did it. Not one.
Yeah.
Well,
I think our story's
I
getting
see
out there.
dumb people. They show up in blue in front of the courthouse.
You do. I agree. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about there where you have this kind of planned opposition, right? And these things happening. I'm talking about just out and about. And I know in Canton it may be different than it is in other places, obviously, but it really is kind of fascinating that I do believe our numbers are larger than theirs by, manyfold.
But on
No,
that,
I would believe there's a very small percentage of the population that truly believes the state's case. I think most people are on the Karen is innocent side.
I do too. And we've seen that, right, in national polls and everything else. So it's not like it's.
can I
It's
just
just
say,
the fact that DA is just not going to stop. DA Morrissey, like Attorney Mark Bettero says, his office is a bunch of zombies, and they're going to double down, triple down, quadruple down. They're not going to give it up, which is like insane. Like it's like Mark Bettero said, this case wouldn't even have been gotten through a grand jury, never mind prosecuted. But that's how bad the corruption is, say in Norfolk County, and the depth of the corruption or the height of it. I say it goes all the way to Attorney General Andrea Campbell and Governor Maura Healey, if you ask me.
Well, at least wanting it to go, at least wanting it to not talk about it. I do believe that in those cases with Attorney General Campbell and with Governor Healey, I do think that there's this situation where they're afraid of the police union, right? So they have to keep their mouths shut. And I think they're incorrectly reading that too. But I do think that that's what's happening in those cases. It's really interesting. I do see some of my fellow Connecticut residents in the chat here that are talking about that. Not only are our Connecticut state troopers aware of this case, but I run into local cops all over Connecticut that talk to me about the case. Except for, I agree with you about Fairfield County. So Fairfield County, Connecticut is the southernmost county in the state, and everyone that lives there believes that they are from New York City because it's a very affluent area, and there's a lot of celebrities and movie stars and people that live down in Fairfield County, and it's really just a suburb of New York City rather than being, officially in Connecticut. So a lot of people down in Fairfield County are not aware of the Karen Reed trial because they're kind of immersed in the New York news market versus the Connecticut one.
right?
And like
hang on,
I
Scott,
try.
hang on. I just want to add just this point because comments have been coming up about it. The bigger the community is, the more people are going to be, not exactly on the same page. We're all on the Free Karen Reed page, but we all have our own differences amongst that. So the bigger it can start out with just boots on the ground. They're just a small group. They all agree with each other. They all come from the same place, so they all got the same politics. But now we're talking about, 90% of the audience that tuned into the trial is pretty much, the whole world involved now. And not everybody's coming from the same background or the same laws or the same anything. So it's to be expected that we're not all going to agree with each other on every specific detail that's going on around the outside of the case. But within the case, we all agree. And that's the important thing to me. It's that we all agree within the case, we all agree.
Yep.
Agreed.
Yep.
But it's a
Strongly
big
agree.
community. Let's at least acknowledge that this is a great big community. But we are all on the same page with that one topic. It's a big community.
But, you know, when you see the inverted Canton Sallyport video interjected into the trial far past discovery, and you see Judge Auntie Bev just letting it in and not doing anything about it,
Yeah.
that's what proved to me how truly corrupt this whole thing is, and how I believe, in my opinion, how complicit Judge Beverly Canonian is in all this. Why she's even presiding on this trial. She's been sent on a mission by Michael Morrissey because that's how she's a judge in the first place. And then I start going down that rabbit hole. And then I start talking about all the Democrats that run Massachusetts. And then people are accusing me of being political because I'm, you know, more right wing, more of a constitutionalist. I believe our government is corrupt top to bottom. And I try to stay away from the politics, but sometimes it's hard.
I've always, you know, same thing. I'm not going to get into specific politics, but I've the same as you, where I look at these things and I do look at, you know, Andrea Joy Campbell and I do look at Maura Healey and I say to myself, at what point are they going to realize that the scale is tipped and that the political expediency would be to come out and make a statement about this prosecution or get involved in it in some way, or have the attorney general, you know, send a monitor into the case because they don't like what's happening. It shocked me that we haven't gotten to the tipping point yet in this case where they've figured out that it's politically better for them to take a position than to not take a position.
But and now they hire the mob lawyer Hanky Panky Brennan, and it appears he's only there to once again defend the McAlberts and these dirty cops. He's not even there to prosecute Karen Reed for the alleged running down her boyfriend.
No,
it's ridiculous.
And we've already had these embarrassing situations with him, with the expert that doesn't know the difference between bits and bytes, and the last, you know, with Dr. Russell, where he's holding up the book that largely all of the most of the pages of the book support what she's saying versus his conclusions. So it's really strange what's happening there. But why are we even having a second Daubert hearing on Marie Russell when she's already been permitted to testify? So now all of a sudden we're having another Daubert hearing on an expert witness that's already been approved. Doesn't make any sense.
Poor lady. I was in court that day because I usually stay outside of court. I was inside. She was on the stand all day and they couldn't finish it. It was like, oh my God, this lady's going to come back again. Bev's probably going to just let her testify again anyways. So what are we doing here? It's a waste of time.
I mean, we'll see what they come back with, but she almost has to. Like, right, if she makes that's such a controversy of law. If she requires the expert to go through a second Daubert hearing and then turns around and disqualifies her as an expert witness, that's going to get the kind of legal attention that we haven't even seen in this case yet. We've seen some drama, right, when it comes to the jurors and the counts 1 and 3 and whether we've gotten there. If she does not allow Marie Russell to testify again in the second trial, I'm going to reserve judgment. If the prosecution comes up with some amazing fact that we haven't figured out yet, that Marie Russell has been caught lying in this many prosecutions or whatever else, I'll reserve that. But other than that, if she does not allow her to testify or severely limits her testimony in a way that doesn't comport with her decision in the first trial, it's going to be, the lawfare is going to be incredible. We're going to see interlocutor.
I think Bev has to let her in. She might limit on what she can testify to, though. I guess is the only way Bev can slow down Dr. Russell.
I learned something from this case, and every time I say, no, this couldn't be true that they would do this, or no, this is impossible. Of course, she has to, right? Every time I say that in this case, I almost get proven wrong because it's so insane what you see happening here. So I do get this situation where normally I would be right behind you and agree with you, but who knows? Anything goes in this case. It's so crazy.
But what's funny, what's so lopsided about the state, right? The Commonwealth prosecution can bring up Trooper Paul, the crime scene whisperer and stuff that's bad at math. And he's an expert, though, because he's a trooper. And we're going to put Dr. Marie Russell through the ringer in 2 Daubert hearings to prove that she's qualified to testify. But the jury's supposed to take Trooper Paul's word for it, and he's an idiot.
Aries Girl just said, I watched EDB and she said that Dr. Russell has to prove that her conclusion was based on a scientific pattern methodology. That's why they are so focused on the articles and courses. So, yes.
Right, but then why didn't they? But the question is why didn't they do that in the first Daubert hearing?
Yeah. Brennan hasn't asked a single question about the sciences behind it yet. But that's the point of a Daubert. He might in January still got another bite at the apple in January. He might wind it round to those topics, but he actually hasn't asked a single question of Dr. Russell that's about the science behind it. Are you a veterinarian? That's not going in that direction.
Yeah. No. And frankly, she's holding up well, so I'm not that worried about it.
But my favorite part is when Brennan tossed her the book and she flips open to the cover pages and she says, well, none of these people are doctors, so take the book back.
Yeah.
I'm all set with the book. That was funny.
When I went through the list of the contributors in that book, only one of them is a forensic science person. The rest are all animal related, veterinarians and stuff. Then there's only one person in the list who's actually a qualified forensic, like on Dr. Russell's level, basically. But
can you even imagine somebody's resume being as extensive and profound as hers? Like, who are we going to find that's more expert than her?
Nobody.
She's been a cop, an ER nurse. She's been everything.
She's perfect. She's the absolute perfect expert for this case. It's perfect, and that's why the Commonwealth hates it so much, because she's so ideal. You couldn't find a better fit. I actually
went through all of her previous studies that reference her, and then also through her studies that reference other studies. And it is actually, he's not going to get anywhere going in that direction, because it is all science. So he's coming at it from the direction that dog bite impressions, like if you took a mold of those impressions and then matched them to the dog, that IDs the dog, that's actually not a study. That doesn't have statistics. It's got some science behind it. It's not peer reviewed yet. It's still being collated. Nobody kept a database on it. Nobody's got statistics on it. So that side of it is where he's coming from. But like I said, it's still in its infancy. So if he comes at it more from that direction in the January questioning that he's got left to question yet, it's going to come up that she's not even coming from that direction. And even the book he threw at her supports the direction that she's coming from.
Yeah, I heard that. The book is actually helpful to the defense.
What's the book called again? Crystal's asking, what's the name of the book? Aussie?
The name of the book is, let me pull it up. The book is named...
These people are having the best sale of their lives. All of a sudden, their book is getting all this attention, you know?
That's true, right?
It's written in England and it's called Dog Bites, a multidisciplinary perspective. It's written by Daniel S. Mills and Carrie Westcroft. I can actually share this screen so that you guys can look it up. It's available out there for anyone who wants to go look it up. It's available through an England university. Let me find the window. This one here, that's the cover. It's available.
It's not junk science, that redhead. They're not talking about comparing bite marks for a human bite on human skin to determine whether that human bit that human. They're talking about or the dog. It's talking about, I mean, I think the distinction here is that's what Hank Brennan was trying to say, is that it's been discredited. That has been discredited. What hasn't been discredited is that there's a very strong distinction between the look of human bites and dog bites But even then, like
No,
that.
no,
So,
it's exactly, Lisa. That's all Dr. Russell is saying. She's
yes,
saying she can't identify the bite marks on John O'Keefe's arm to directly match up to the German
exactly.
Shepherd Chloe. She's just saying that obviously the bite marks on his arm were caused by a dog, not a human being.
For those who
That's it.
don't want to buy it, I'm actually reading it on my channel. We've gone,
Great.
it's a 600-page book. So we started on my first episode. You'll see this, if you look in my live streams on my channel, you'll see this picture right here that you're looking at, the cover of the book. That's where I'm reading it. So the audience basically says, look up this keyword, and we go and read what it's about. But chapter 15 and 16 are very relevant to what Dr. Russell is saying. And it's not that dog bite identification, as far as the imprints go, has been discredited. It hasn't. It's that it's not a peer-reviewed science yet. So the dude who actually supports the indentation studies has gone back to uni to learn, because he's a doctor. He's gone back to learning to uni to learn maths and statistics, how to set up one of these studies so that they can make it peer reviewed and bring it back into the courtroom. So it's not that it's been discredited. It just didn't have the stats and the math behind it. So that is actually coming up. So it's not even a junk science. The way that Dr. Russell said she could identify the bites, I don't know if she's actually said it yet, but the book supports the way to tell the dog that belonged to the bites is by taking swabs off John's arm and doing DNA testing, because you can actually match the dog to DNA. So that part is not junk science, and the book supports it. And Dr. Russell's in a sticky spot because she couldn't do that study herself. She's actually qualified to do it. She's qualified to have taken the swabs and sent them in, but she couldn't do that because, there were no swabs nobody took the swabs. So she wasn't involved in this from the start. So, yeah.
But I don't even know if it's that important that we could ever possibly match Chloe DNA wise to John's arm. Whether or not Chloe still takes breaths doesn't matter. A child that sees the picture of his arm knows that he was dog bitten. That's it. I mean,
and that's all the defense needs, right? The defense just needs to show that those wounds came from a dog. And
obviously, it's not from Karen Reed backing her Lexus up into John O'Keefe. How would that happen to his arm?
And that's the point, right? Because at the end of the day, they don't need to. The defense never needs to prove who killed Karen Reed. They just need to prove that the state's theory is wrong. And at the end of the day, and they don't even actually need to prove that, right? Because the only burden of proof is on the state. But at the end of the day, we saw that Melanie Little had that dog bite expert on, who was very credible and amazing. And I myself know, and I've said this multiple times, but I myself know a state trooper in another state who is the lead state trooper, canine handler trainer for his state. And I showed him the picture blind and said, hey, what do you think about this? And I showed him the picture of John's arm. You couldn't even tell it was on a body. I just cropped out just the arm. And he said, oh, who got in a fight with a German Shepherd? That was his blind reaction. This is a guy who
exactly, Jason. Anybody that sees the photographs of John O'Keefe's arm instantly knows.
And this guy doesn't work with drug dogs. He works with people dogs. He trains dogs to bite people and find people. I'll give him credit for that. But he trains dogs.
And you think about Dr. Russell, right? One of her many things she's done in her life. She worked in a prisoner hospital unit.
Yep.
And a lot of suspects that are being arrested by the police, they get dog bitten by police canines, or even inmates that are in prisons. I've been involved in riots where we've had to bring in the canine dogs, and they get sicked upon the offenders, and they get dog bitten, and then they have to be treated medically. So Dr. Russell has seen a lot of suspects or prisoners with dog bites, so she knows what she's looking at.
Yeah, I agree. It's almost undisputable to me at this point that we're, I don't know.
I just sent Abby the link. She does have
Yes.
time today, so
I,
I'll let
I
her
will
know.
say, I will say that I kind of have been popping off to the side and looking, and Abby's on Twitter and kind of
She's
having
getting
the
the
time
tag
of it. Yeah,
for
she's getting
sharing,
attacked right now, but
for sharing it.
Oh,
that's okay because
yeah.
we're moving above the drama. So come in here, Abby. Don't worry about what's happening on Twitter. Right
Yeah. Put your phone down, man. Put your phone down. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Yes, love
We'll
to have
go.
Abby on.
So I don't know what tree that hanky panky Brennan is barking up at, trying to throw holes or pick away at Dr. Russell's resume or opinion. I was in the courtroom when he was doing that, and he came at her hard, and he was like going up a tree that I don't quite understand. Like, look at this woman's resume; it's spectacular. Like, where are you going, Brennan? I don't get it. And I think and then of course Judge Beverly Cannoni had amnesia because she suddenly forgot that she allowed Dr. Brennan to testify in trial one. So I don't even know why we're going through this process all again. But I don't see his strategy. I was like a little perplexed. I couldn't get it.
Not just on Marie Russell. I can't figure him out either, like in general, what his strategy is. And I do want to just take 1 second and say Semper Fi to Jarhead Jane. There you go. But I really don't have any idea what he's doing. It doesn't make any sense to me. He has this whole he came in with the bits and bytes expert, and it's from I think that if there was any data there now, we would have heard about it because it's already supposed to have been back. So there's no way they wouldn't have found a way to leak that out or do something along those lines. And now we have Dr. Russell. Like it seems like he's desperate to find something. So he's throwing everything against the wall,
Yeah, to answer Barry Lewis, that's exactly what I think. I don't know how you mean rogue, but I agree with Jason. He's just desperate. Is the answer.
So what's his goal? Keep Dr. Russell out of trial two. We're
I don't
gonna
see
just
how he can. I
ignore
don't
the
see
dog bites. I don't get it.
Abby.
Hi, how are ya?
We're
Come
good.
to a
We're
safe
good.
place. Come to a safe place.
Safe corner
yeah.
on the internet.
Hi, Abby.
I love it. Thanks for inviting me.
That's right. Thanks for coming. We weren't sure you were going to have time, with family. It's definitely a family time, so we're not going to hold it against anyone if they can't.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, no. I was just finishing up my handmade gifts. I was telling Jason about it the other day. I've just been a busy little Christmas elf other than yesterday.
Not only that, Abby was telling me about some of her capabilities that I'm like, all right, we need to schedule another in-person appointment because I have all kinds of stuff I want to make now that I know what she can do.
As my boyfriend says, I spent money on like a heat press for t-shirts, and then I have like a Cricut. And I don't know, I think I just get bored and like to do creative crafts type stuff. So I don't know. Maybe I just need to find some. It's like I don't want to do video stuff in my free time other than like the video Jesus stuff. So
Right.
I
right.
figured this Christmas, maybe I'll make handmade gifts, but it was definitely a mistake because now I'm just swamped. And
A lot of people know I'm in a band and I'm a musician, and I had I prolifically would write songs. Even all throughout high school, I would probably write a song a day. It would be a constant thing. Before AI, back in the time when you actually had to write the whole song. And when I went to college, I initially before I went in the Marine Corps, I went to college and I was in line, I was signing up for computer science. And at the last minute before I registered at the desk, I suddenly changed my mind and decided I wanted to be a music major. And I did. And I immediately learned that once music got really technical for me, I had a classical piano major and a jazz piano minor, which was, I don't know what I thought I was going to do with that. But as I was starting to do this, everything became so technical. I lost my ability to write music because everything was so regimented and it was about this and that. And I couldn't get it back for a month or two. It was really bothering me because it was a big part of my life. And then I just started writing anything I could. It's actually how I ended up by where I am today in terms of writing articles and doing these things, because I started writing letters to the editor, and I was writing essays for, I didn't even have a class that required me to write essays. I just started doing these creative endeavors to write anything I could in any medium, in any form. And eventually I got back my ability to write songs, because it was more about the process of being creative than it was about the actual thing I was creating. So, I totally understand that you want to do these other things, because it all feeds the same endorphins. You know what I mean? You end up with the same rush from doing a creation, but it doesn't feel like work necessarily.
Yeah.
So that was just a little bit about me off topic. Sorry.
I love
not
it.
even off topic. That's so interesting. I love it. Well,
And
we'll
anyway,
make,
Jason, the topic of this stream is anything goes. So we talk about
True.
whatever. We just
And
do
oh my
anything.
God, you just talked about Cameroon.
Songwriting is a talent that even some of the best singing or playing artists don't have. Like if you look at Elton John, a lot of his songs were written by Bernie Taupin, one of his songwriters.
Especially the lyrics, right? So he wrote the music and
Yeah.
Bernie wrote the lyrics. And I do and I can write music all day long, but you know, I'm no singer. I'm a backup singer, so I don't perform my own work. You know what I mean? And we don't.
Well, that's
I mean,
why the most amazing artists are the ones that they can write songs and then also sing them, but it's not always the case.
Well, actually, the most amazing artists, right, are the people that can collaborate, and that's what because it's a real hard thing, and a lot of times people, you get people that kind of get stuck in this. So you'll see these bands that'll come out and have this. Thank you, Michelle. That's funny. You see these bands that will come out and have this amazing album, and then their next album will be horrible, because like it was either that they had a smart producer the first time who said, here's what you need to be doing, and the second time they got more creative control, and it turns out that they weren't commercially viable. I'm not saying they're horrible, right? But maybe what they wanted to do wasn't commercially viable. But when you start to, or you know, maybe they're not as talented as the songwriters that they had that are writing for them. When you start to be able to work in this kind of collaborative environment, you really end up in most cases coming out with a better end product.
Well, I have to say, you're a very talented writer, and as you might steal my my creative what should I say? As my boyfriend says, you know, I just buy really stupid stuff, and I just have a bunch of like, you know, production equipment and like art stuff. But I'll have to steal some of your copywriting skills, because like that's the one thing I have to do now at work, is I have to write like creative copy, which I mean, I can do, but I'm not the best writer because I'm super dyslexic, and I'm just not a good writer. I can admit that. I mean, my tweets, if you ever looked at my tweets, there's a lot of misspellings, so I own that. But I'll definitely have to borrow your writing skills at some point too. We can do a little trade-off.
Yeah, but a little bartering there. I love that.
Yeah, I love a good barter.
Me too.
No, Jason's an excellent writer.
So
very,
good.
very intelligent.
You know,
I've been so happy when he's come up here to Massachusetts. He went to the D.A. Morrissey protest. He's been to some of the court dates. It's been great to meet him in person. Boots on the ground.
I'll definitely spend some more time up there in January as well. So as we have things coming up, you'll see me for sure, because there's a lot to cover, a lot of ground to cover up there.
Barry Lewis just said, Miss Shaw, did you plan to watch Mike Crawford's YouTube show tonight? I recommend that you do. Do tell.
It was a good show, because it goes back into the history of Grant Smith Ellis. You know, before we knew him, you know, us Free Karen Reed people, before I even knew Mike Crawford, before we knew all this history, there was a lot to Grant that I didn't know. I learned a lot from his show tonight.
It really, and I can tell you that I didn't. Obviously, I'll probably learn something too, but this really was right at the time that Haley Walbrecht Came Alive was being created on Twitter. I really got engrossed in this Morris Stringer case that's still ongoing. He's still charged with a crime, and it's ridiculous. He literally was the victim of an assault, and then he was charged with assault instead of the people that actually assaulted him.
Oh.
It's a horrific case, and there's been all kinds of funny business in the case in terms of interference by Grant directly. He's a witness in the case. And we see the same lying patterns that he has now. It really is, that case is a passion project for me, and which is why I'm still working on the video that's coming out. That's going to be very exciting, because that is literally my first experience of taking what everyone sees kind of funny Grant, right, and humorous Grant, and he's fun to laugh at or whatever else, and actually see him in the light of somebody who is dangerous. And
Yes.
You need to send me those clips, Jason, too, because I'll like help you put that together in Premiere.
I will. I'll let you know. Yeah.
See, I don't find Grant that like worrisome to me because I see him boots on the ground. We've hate him from the beginning because he's anti Karen Reed, right? But I didn't know a lot of his history, and I didn't know a lot about him. I'm still learning about him, how potentially dangerous he is. I mean, I seen him assault Fall River reporter
Jess
Machado, and he's done stupid things, but he's never in person, face to face, boots on the ground. He doesn't, threaten me at all. But I guess there's a lot more to Grant that I don't know. And Free Karen Reed people will talk to Grant. He's actually comfortable amongst us in person. I mean, Tommy DeRozier, Tom CPU took him to breakfast the other day.
Well, yeah.
But that triggered some people. They're like, "Oh, you can't talk to Grant. You know how bad this guy is." And
well, Grant,
I don't like Grant, and I know he's my enemy of Free Karen Reed, but I can talk to him fine. I don't have a problem with him.
Well, I think that he's just a dangerous person based on, and I mean, I made a mashup reel of Grant just because he pissed off the Video Jesus, and the Video Jesus does have a very big wrath. And I remember talking to Aussie about it, and initially this was the stream beforehand. So for context, Jason, Aussie, and I were all on a stream when Haley Walbrook, we first broke the story about kind of you getting doxxed, Jason.
Yep.
And I remember on the stream, I felt bad for Grant. I really did. Like, I actually felt bad for him. And then he took my post, and I was trying to be really nice to him. And I was like, look, with, Jason, you only really know the full story until you watch it. And then he took my tweet and retweeted it saying we should have compassion for people, and then doxed a juror. Not even 12 hours later, right after that post. It just used my tweet in like a manipulation tactic. So I remember at that point, I was pissed. And then I kind of felt bad because, I made this mashup reel of Grant, and I was like, I shouldn't make fun of people like that. And then I talked to Mike Crawford, and he's like, oh no, let me give you the DL on Grant. And he basically reiterated what you, Jason, told me. And so after that point, I just really didn't feel bad about it.
I can't tell you how many conversations I had with Abby where she's like, I feel really bad. I feel really bad making this video, and I feel really bad doing this. And then I remember the light switch, the turning point where she was like, F him, I'm making this video.
I get really crabby sometimes. Abby gets very crabby when, especially when Grant did that, I was like, yo, I just defended you on Aussie's channel. Not defended, but I was like, oh, well, maybe he doesn't know any better. I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt. And then that mofo literally used my tweet and doxed a juror 12 hours later. I was like, oh no, game on. And everybody saw it. I was like, that's so not that I care about that kind of shit, but I was just like, that's dirty.
Well, I guess my threshold for evil is very high. I used to talk to murderers every day. Civilly.
No, it's true, and I actually say that a lot too. I think I hit on this a bit in last night's stream where I just said, there are some people who kind of claim the mantle of victimhood, and with some of the people I help and people I talk to and things that I've seen, I just say to myself, you're not really. It's almost like Aiden Carney being charged with assault and battery because Lindsay Gaetani got bumped a little bit and fell onto the couch, and whatever traumatic experience he may have had in that time, at the end of the day, you haven't been brutally assaulted. You know what I mean? Don't don't overplay your card in that
Yeah.
scenario.
So did anybody else get a lot of backlash from last night that I did?
There was a little bit of backlash from last night, and I put out a tweet thread. I put out a tweet thread.
On and on, and people like, why did you mention me on the thread that doesn't even mention them? We got fake victims coming out of the woodwork everywhere.
Yeah. I really do, but I really do want to. I want to move past that because we said what we said. We actually announced information that was important for people to receive.
Jason, everyone's gonna have their like bloody tantrum over it. We can't just put it out there and expect it to blow over like overnight. It's
right.
I'm not sorry about it. Like, you know what? I think it needed to be said, and like obviously we can move past it and stuff, but I think it was important. It wasn't like some like breakup drama. It was like a really important thing of, you know, again, like a person that preys on like women and girls. And I think we said it, and like I'm not sorry about it. I didn't even care about Flash.
I'm not sorry about any of that, and none of us should be. Like that was the right thing to do, and people are criticizing. Well, I was following along with your tweets that was happening there, Abby, a few minutes ago, and when we're getting the, don't you think it would have been nice to come and tell us separately and say no? We told everyone in the world at the same exact time, and it was very shortly after we found out. We didn't owe you any private audience to this information.
And
if you
to be
go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say, and to be honest, the people like the I guess where that's coming from is those people have honestly done me and my friends and my community no favors in anything. In fact, they haven't even come to me to ask me any of the questions that they could have asked to stop all of the drama stuff, the actual drama that they've been perpetuating for weeks and weeks and weeks. And it was there was like we did, you know, Abby kind of accidentally tipped Adam Boyd off that we're onto him accidentally.
My bad, I'm sorry.
No, he was very trigger happy. Clearly, he was very
he was ready.
He could tell. He was ready. He knew. He already knew. Things were escalating, and you could feel it. There was something really big about to happen. And but so had we gone and said, "Oh, hey, by the way, friend," who they wouldn't have even been receptive to it. The few people that wanted to know, they wouldn't have even like we're blocked. Like, quite frankly, we're blocked. How could we have reached out?
And how good was it that we knew it was coming, but who was it that blew shit up? It was us. Adam, you lose. We blew shit up, mate. We blew it up in your face.
You know what? I think it just goes past like a breakup thing. And I even did this I said this in a tweet where I was bringing up the meteorologist, like my past coworker that I went on a sushi date with. And like, I don't know, it was like maybe like a month or 2 months later, he got, you know, convicted of child porn. Like he was arrested. And I found out at the same time everybody at the station found out. And literally, like, you were brave for coming out, because at that time, I remember there was rumors going around from all the producers saying, oh, well, there was a blonde producer that went out to sushi with them. We saw her at the restaurant with him. It was one date with the guy. But I will tell you this, a week later, I dyed my hair brown, and it did not look good on me. I looked like shit with brown hair, but I did it because I didn't want to even admit it. I was like, I'm just going to deny it. So for somebody to say that you're coming out and saying this information to be like, you know, oh, you're just trying to be vindictive, or you're trying to like get one over on him. Like, no, like nobody wants to admit that they got fooled like that. Like, it's kind of embarrassing, you know, and like, it was super brave of you to even come out on Aussie's show, because I'm going to be honest, I dyed my hair brown. I was like, I am never going to admit this. And then, I mean, years later, this is like obviously like 10 years ago, but years later, you know, I came out that I was like, yeah, man, I went on one date with him. And funny enough, my mom was like, oh, that's probably why he dated you, because you look really young. And I did look young at 25. So
you still look like you're 25.
I mean, I don't know about that. I will say I do get carded sometimes, and I love being carded. I was carded in Vegas, and I was like, oh my God, that's so sweet. In a place where like carded. But yeah, no, I appreciate you, Miss Shorty, for even coming on Aussie's show, because that's something really brave to do. Like, a lot of people wouldn't be like, yeah, I was fooled, you know, because again, you kind of, you know, it doesn't look great on you, but at the same time, like, we're trying to bring awareness. Like, this dude is out here. Not only this dude is out here, but he has a channel, or he had a channel before last night, which is kind of why the video Jesus wanted to come out with it. because I don't
Well-
want this guy slinging content when he's literally like a predator. So that was, I think that was the more underlying purpose other than just some breakup drama.
Well,
Exactly. To me, it was Ozzy said to me, like, are you sure? Like, are you worried? I'm like, hell no, I'm sure. Like, I need, as someone who prided herself prior to this as being a person who is very skilled in the spotting of narcissists and red flags, and very much a lot of lived experience. Excuse me. The cheese. To be able to say, look, hey, even me, who was considered oneself very savvy, very educated, that I could get like hoodwinked, and not just hoodwinked, like catfished, preyed upon, catfished, like, and then decimated, and then be the target of the aftermath, and for that to, and that needed to be said. So there was never any question. I like, and you know, I mean, there's been questions as to my integrity with regards to victims, and whether I actually speak for victims. And like, yes, I do, and I will, even when I'm the victim, and it's going to make me look like a dumb idiot.
I mean, you know what? And this is what I said to other people too. It's just, I mean, again, it's an embarrassing thing to come out with saying that, but you doing that is like very brave. And a lot of other people wouldn't do it. And again, I think anybody can get fooled. I mean, look,
Yes.
like a meteorologist from like an ABC affiliate channel where I'm from in Connecticut literally fooled the whole station. There was no background check on him. Like this could happen to anybody. But that's why it's important, you know, again, to bring awareness to it. And it's not just because of like some breakup drama, because I think that just gets like, when people are like slinging that today, it's like, that's just being petty. Like that's not what that was about. It was about literally this guy that has his own YouTube channel that's slinging content, and also grift, like literally like partnered himself with a very established creator to give himself, you know, credibility, is, you know, coming out and like being, you know, and gaslighting her.
Actually, I didn't think of that, Abby. I didn't think of that, Abby. All I thought of it was about giving him access to my network and sort of hitching himself to my wagon. I hadn't thought about it as giving him credibility as a member of the community from a predator's point of view. That's a really good point.
It is, and I think that's really important to know is, and that's why, again, because I love my Lord Savior video, Jesus. I think it's important to know, like, when you're a creator, you have power. And
yes,
what you say means something. And so when a person like that, Adam, I will say Adam Pirate Turd, like has his own channel and is saying all this nonsense, and he's a predator that preys on children, like you should know who you're watching and what the message is coming out of his mouth, because again, he could say anything he wants.
He's also clearly preying on the FKR community, because he went from
Yeah.
Melly to Shorty and over to OB, moving around, making allies in the FKR community. So
yeah, and we call him, by the way, we call him pedo pirate. Abby, you missed
Yeah.
that.
I'm gonna just call him. I hashtagged him Pirate Turd, but I mean,
and
that's
sorry,
again my.
sorry, Colors wanted to clarify that we don't actually, I don't think we know whether it's a male or a female that was, or even if it was a real human, a minor, or whether it was a sting operation. But so we're not quite sure. I mean, I feel like probably it was a female, but maybe not. So that's just a clarification.
We really don't know, right? We don't know what happened there.
No.
We don't even know if there's an actual victim. And based on the sentencing and the way that the wording was, I tend to think that it was a sting.
Yes.
It might have been, but I think that context is everything. So even if it was like a sting, or if it wasn't a person that just pretend to be like a person, like there's really, I mean, you're sentenced, you're convicted for, you know, the context of it. And if it's a person, whether it's a 35-year-old that's like acting to be like, you know, like again, like a 15-year-old or a 13, I don't know the context of the actual, again, we don't really know the whole situation. I think that just says a lot, and it just says a lot for the power of a channel. And that's why I think it was important to, like, you know, again, kind of break that down for audiences, because he is in the True Crime Network, which is a female dominated audience demographic.
And let's not forget that we are actually putting ourselves between the people who found this information and the people who are attacking people for finding this information. We put ourselves in the way for those people. We're still protecting those people. And there's an important factor involved in this, that those people couldn't come forward because the community is, oh, it's just drama, minimizing it. So
I agree. And I don't regret it. I'll take
I
shit
don't
all
either.
day.
Yeah, same. I'm fine. I'm fine. It's they try to drag us down. They try to gaslight and minimize and redirect and keep it as like, it's just drama, which is minimizing. But that's not it was a public service. It was a public community, a community announcement for our community, and we did the right thing. And if the people are doubling down and feeling like they're making it about them, no, it's about the community, and we were all victims. So just like people need to mature up a little bit, right?
And you were incredibly brave for coming out, because I'll be honest, like even myself, like with the whole meteorologist WTNH thing, I didn't say shit for years. I literally dyed my hair brown because I did not even want to be associated with it. And the fact that you're like, you know what, I'm going to own it, because I'm going to warn people that this person is not a good person, and he literally has an ulterior motive. He's a narcissist. He's a gaslighter. I literally applaud you for that, because that takes a lot of bravery and a lot of freaking balls, to be honest.
Yeah.
Also, Amber wanted to say we've actually got more document gatherers who do this for their, like it's a volunteer thing, but they do this all the time. These are two other epic people who request and gather documents. So we're getting the full complement of documents on the way at the moment. Of course, if there is any identifying information, it will be redacted fully. That's not our intention whatsoever. But so we're going to have more information to this. And if it's pertinent, if it's not just like cumulative, to use a legal term, we'll put that out when it comes. But I think it's important for our peace of mind a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's important just to, again, like, because he has a voice and a channel and a presence on YouTube, I think it is important to get the full context of the situation and really
that's what I've been.
Yeah.
That's what I've been trying to say to people who are chiming in, seeing only the information dropping on Twitter, not knowing any of the other stuff, and seeing it and not understanding the context makes it really hard for them to have any sort of objective opinion on it, or informed opinion, because it's the way, and that's why I gave all that context in the stream last night to lead up to when we gave the information. We weren't just trying to string people along. The context mattered as to how we got to that point, to understand that this is the story of the sting of the catfish by Adam, of me, and then we found out that it was Melly beforehand. That this is how it evolved from woe to go, and then what happened afterwards, and then that's how we started to think there's more to this. This is an evil. This is a bad person. This is a seriously bad person, and then that's how we came upon the information by using our curiosity and our critical thinking and our true criminess to get to the bottom of it. So the context really matters in the whole situation, in the whole story, and as much as all the stuff that's been going on, the drama adjacent stuff, but that's what Adam Boyd drummed up, fostered, nurtured, fueled, and delivered people that he'd manipulated and almost in a cult-like way brainwashed into believing his lies about me for his end goal, which was to destroy me for whatever reason. Like, hey, thanks. But
whatever reason, he did the exact same thing to Melly. He had no reason to destroy her. He could have just moved on.
Moved on.
That's what those kind of people do. Once they have any perceived slight, or even not, if that's their whole, it's almost entertainment that makes them feel better. They do it over and over again. It's a cycle. And so that stuff is all important because it makes you understand.
What's also important that I have dropped the ball on is teaching people, especially our audiences, how to look up people that you might be engaging with and considering romantically. If you don't know them personally, it doesn't matter if they come from the same country as you or not. I've dropped the ball because I'm normally the first one out there saying this is how you do it. So for those who don't know how to do it, I'll try to get back into that. It means I've got to subscribe to some platforms again that help you to track people down and understand who they are. But in America, you've got a lot of tools at your fingertips where you can check who those people are. We don't necessarily have them here in Australia because we don't have public records. So for us to, for it, it's probably isn't crossing our minds that we can actually look somebody up here in Australia because we don't have that facility. You do in America. And I want you all to like consider subscribing to something like Being Verified, or I mean, there's a number of different platforms. Scott over at Crime Talk, he's also got one as well, where you can just type that person's name in, do a little search and find out their criminal history and all that sort of thing. Scott's very big on this. I think every show he does has an ad, check the person that you're dating. He's a tool to do that. So
I actually want to address this. Hold on, Abby. I want to address this because this came up on Twitter a lot over the last day, where people were saying, you know, well, wasn't it Miss Shorty's responsibility to look at, you know what?
No.
I said it last night on our stream, though. I said, do I think that it was naive of Miss Shorty not to look up Adam? Sure, I actually do, because I would tell every one of my daughters, I don't care how, if you're spending more time with a person or you've met them and you start to make a connection, we should, I always volunteer myself to do the investigation when it comes to my daughters, right? But I always say that we should look into this a little bit more because you want to know who you're dealing with. But I do think that people have to understand that Shorty was not going to a dating site. This wasn't Match.com or Tinder where she was trying to connect with somebody. She met somebody in the comment sections.
Stalked by him. So was Melly. They were literally stalked by him. You can't say that a child who is assaulted by somebody in your family, oh well, that's your fault because they were in your family. That's kind of saying the same thing, isn't it? But the victim doesn't ask for it. Okay, that's my point.
Yeah, that's correct. And here we are. But we're seeing something where, guess what? These people came together. They met in a chat. They started talking to each other, and they all of a sudden found that they were, you know, he was a skilled manipulator, and so they all of a sudden found that they had stuff in common, and they were laughing. And it's not hard to see how somebody ends up accidentally entering into a relationship, because sometimes things just naturally take that path. And once you're there, you don't even think about, I'm going to go back and Google somebody, because they're already in a relationship with you. Like they're already
there.
Yeah, she wasn't looking for a relationship. She wasn't going into an online dating environment, and that happened. This is something that naturally occurred, and they became closer to each other. And then by then, I don't know if you haven't experienced this out there in the world. I feel bad for you, because what happens is when you connect with somebody in that way, and what at least feels like an authentic way, you feel this kind of connection to somebody where by the time it's too late, you don't even think about the fact that this could be fake, or this isn't real, or this isn't. You are already in it. Yeah, you're right. It is called grooming. I agree with that, Ivana. But you're already in it, and it's too late by then, because you're not going to go back and look, because you already feel like you've known this person your whole life. We all hear these things when you have these conversations, and when people abuse that metric, there's nothing you can do. You've already become a victim to it.
He cast a spell. He cast a spell on me.
And this should be a great lesson for everyone, that when you're feeling that way, as organic as it feels, or whatever else, take a minute, go back, and let your common sense pop back and remember this happening to Miss Shorty, and use it for your own use to say, no matter how good it feels, or organic or natural that the path is taking, take a minute and protect yourself, because it's very, very important. That's the lesson that we can all learn from this.
Yeah, and I think even just riffed off that too, you know, again, like, even, I mean, Miss Shorty, like, you know, you were, the thing that you're guilty of is just like, you know, you're like empathetic, you're a wonderful person, you're very trusting, which is not a bad thing, you know, and it's unfortunate because there are very bad people in this world. But even, you know, on the off case that, like, even with my situation, like with the Justin Goldstein, I mean, granted, like, it was like a, you know, a one thing, but I mean, he didn't have an arrest record. He didn't have like anything sketchy in his past, like this could happen to anybody. So for somebody to say, oh, well, you know, you should have Googled it, or you should, but like, look, like even if you do Google it, it could still happen to you.
It's
And you
very
just
easy
have
to
to
Monday
look out
morning.
for,
It's
you know,
very easy for these. Very easy for these people to say, "Oh, come on now! Like I would have done X, Y, and Z." Come on now, come on now.
I
Like,
mean, I did X, Y, and Z, and it still happened to me, you know. And I had to dye my hair brown, and I looked like shit for like literally 3 or 4 months until it like faded out. And I was like bleach blonde, and it did not go well for me. I probably should have gone to a stylist. But the point being, you know, it's just
Let me
I
just
don't want
also emphasize that we can't do that from Australia. Like we are blocked from doing that from Australia. You need to have like
that's
a whole bunch of tech head tools in place to be able to go and even look at who's who in America on their public records. So just so that people understand, we don't have those tools in Australia. The best we can do is a Google search.
Yeah, and that's an important note too when people are saying, oh, well, she should have looked him up, she should have done this, she should have done a research. Like, let's be honest, you guys are in Australia, you don't have those tools. So to say anything otherwise, that you were not being diligent is just, I mean, I don't know, I just think it's people trying to find a, you know,
victim blaming. It's classic victim blaming. If you dress a certain way, you deserved it. If you spoke to them, you deserved it. If you didn't, blah blah blah, you deserve it. It's victim blaming.
I don't disagree with any of that, but I will say that a Google search would have solved this problem. But I also understand how you don't even think to go back and do that once you're already in a relationship with somebody. So even that tool in this particular case, even that tool would have been enough. Because the bottom line is if we look, we found him, right? I did a Google, as soon as I heard about this, I did a Google search, and that's what popped up, and we're able to find it. And that's not to, I'm not throwing a bit of shade at Miss Shorty there, because like I said, the bottom line is once you already, someone used the word in chat, which I love, which was soulmate. That the bottom line is once you are in that thing, there's just no reason for you to even feel like you need to go back and look, because you know this person, and they're your person. They're your person.
I actually literally, and I even said to him very early on, I'm like, it's just amazing. There are no red flags with you. That's almost like a direct quote. Like, ugh, how embarrassing.
Well, but it's like a good lesson too, because I always say this. Like, I fuck up. I think everybody fucks up. All women fuck up. So I don't mean to say the F word. But I think we all make mistakes, and it's always just a good tool. Even, you know, when we did the live stream yesterday, like, here is a learning moment. You know, you learned, I learned back in the day, you know what, after Justin Goldstein, I Googled the shit out of everybody I dated. I was like, yo, like, I'm just going to Google. But it's just like little things like that where, you know, our mistakes, people make mistakes. We're all human. But I think it's when you take those mistakes and put it into a learning experience of where what Aussie is saying is that, like, this is a good learning lesson of, like, you know, like, we all get cheated because, you know what, we women, we are compassionate. We are, you know, empathetic. And when people like this come into our environment, into our worlds, into the true crime world, which is, again, a predominantly female demographic, we're going to trust what they say. And I think it was important for us to break that story in general, because we want to get that out there. There are predators out there that do have a channel that actually preys on other creators that have a voice that can be very dangerous.
I'm laughing a little bit because I used to have access to the CJIS system in Massachusetts, so I could run people. And I would be running people that my sisters were dating or my daughters. Check them out.
I think you're probably past the statute of limitations there, Scott, on that news. So
nowadays it's actually hard. Like even if you're, you know, active duty, you just can't run people's names for no reason, because the CJIS system records who the officer was that logged in. If you think about the dispatcher that ran the plate, you know, as a favor for, you know, Aiden Kearney to, you know, with the Jen McCabe's Jeep in front of Proctor's house and the trouble she got in. So even if I wasn't retired, you just, or if you know somebody that's still active duty, You can't just call up and say, hey, you know, my daughter's dating this new guy. Can you run his name? They have to have a reason.
You have to have a
It's
permissible
not,
purpose.
it's not that
right?
easy anymore.
You know,
No, it's not. I mean, I
Can I just
have.
say-
Abby, hang on a second. Sorry.
Oh,
Go
sorry.
ahead.
I was just
Oh,
going
no.
to. Kevin asked whether Shorty, me, I'm a Shorty, and Melly, could you at least inform the police in his home state of what he is up to? I'm sure others exist and be reporting him. We're actually reporting him to the Oregon FBI branch because it's an international thing. They might pass it on to the local authorities, but because he, like, I have video, like his channel's all gone, but I have clips of Adam and I on either on his channel or my channel, and I also have the fuck around and find out episode that he and I did with regards to the email harassment I was getting from someone who was pretending to be their own daughters, but it was actually her, and threatening to come to my home because she knew my address because I'd sent her some of my free Karen Reed stickers, and I put my return address because I thought I was sending it to a friend. And she got all, like, it was just a whole thing. But Adam and I did this whole stream. This was the week before the breakup bullshit when he dumped me. But he and I talking on the live together on screen about the internet and the connections with people. So given that he was online, exploiting and luring minors, that's relevant. We think that he's actually verbalizing the fact that he was, doing live streams and communicating with people on the internet and emails and stuff. So we'll attach that to our report.
And who knows if that'll make any difference, but it's definitely worth a try. But I just want to run back to something that Abby said where she talked about becoming jaded. And I've noticed some of the comments in the chat where people are saying, like, this is why I'm single and this is why I do this. Like, my wish for everybody who's listening to this or in the chat or reading this later or watching a restream is find somebody and fall in love. Like, this shouldn't be a reason for you to isolate yourself to the point that you don't do this. You should take some precautions. And I think that going forward, this is something that we'll all maybe work on together to kind of show you some of those precautions that you can take. I mean, I'm happy to help women if they contact me and they're saying, look, I'm interested in seeing this person and I have some reservations or see some red flags. Can you just take a quick look? Anything like that. But don't let this be a reason for you to further isolate yourself and not live your life and not go out and meet a person to fall in love with or find your actual person. Because aside from the Adams out there, there are a lot of really great partners, men and women, who are out there also looking for somebody and also who are lonely and want to spend the rest of their life with somebody. And I firmly believe there's somebody for everybody. So I don't want you to give up on that just because this happened to Miss Shorty. Sorry. Thank you. That's why I stopped you, Abby. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
I appreciate that. And, like, I guess you said it more eloquently than I did. I think it's always important to, like, again, if you're on, like, dating or doing anything else, maybe me and Aussie will also do a live stream with, like, been verified. But even, again, like a Google search, I know it sounds invasive and it sounds like, oh, like an invasion of privacy. But I think for women, we really do have to protect ourselves and, do some background research. And again, there's no crime in being empathetic and being trusting and stuff like that. But I think even Miss Shorty can agree, and correct me if I'm wrong, that, this is a good life lesson of just, like, shit.
Well, I'd become complacent and like I said, prideful about my ability to spot narcissists, and so I let down my defenses. Thought I knew everything about it. I really did. So that's a lesson to me and to others. Just because we're well educated doesn't mean we're not still going to be like I've been spotting them for years, and then this one just slipped by because he had different tools and a better mask. So.
And don't be ashamed of it either, because there's no shame. And, and I think you're extremely brave for even coming on Aussie's show last night, breaking, like, this whole thing up. Because, again, you helped. I mean, just think, if you didn't come out and say anything, he would do this to other people. And who knows what would have happened. And so that's where I think it's important. And this is some, like, breakup, dramatic shit of, like, oh, like, we're going to get him. No, it has a bigger implication because this person does have a voice. He does have a creator channel, or he did, which thank God we broke that shit down, because at least now he won't be able to spew any of like that narcissistic shit on his channel. But I guess that's the main point that I was getting at is, you know, you're brave and don't be ashamed of what you did. And I think
No,
I'm not.
I mean, despite all of the people, the people trying to shame me, I'm not. I'm a little bit embarrassed because, but that's like you say, it's a good lesson because as soon as I was like, I know this, I got this, come at me, everybody. Well, he came at me and he got through. So,
of course, and I mean that's the thing is like. That's why it's so brave. It's incredibly embarrassing. I mean, I literally dyed my hair brown because I was embarrassed over, and I didn't say shit for years. Like they're like, oh yeah, there's rumors with this Abby, you know, well not really me specifically, but this blonde chick, and I was the only blonde producer. And I was like, I'm going to die with this. I went on one date with this mofo, and I'm going to die with this secret. And then after, you know, like once I got in my 30s, I was like, I don't really have anything to be ashamed of. Yeah, did I get? I mean, I got duped, the station got duped, everybody got duped, but like just because I went on one sushi date with him doesn't make me like an idiot. I mean, he didn't have a record. He was very, you know, he was on the freaking 5 o'clock news, you know, but it just goes to show that it can happen really to anybody. So I just don't want you to feel like you're being shamed or, you know, like,
can I just say, hello, Hammies has said, or get a dog. I've got 2 dogs. That's kind of a dismissive thing to say. I maybe just joking, but I've been single for a very long time. For the last 22 years, I've been single for all but 3 of them. So, you know, humans are designed to be in partnerships. Otherwise, the human race wouldn't continue to exist. So, you know, everybody wants to be loved and love. That's human nature.
Absolutely. I think you girls were very brave. Two examples were set yesterday, and one was being brave enough to own it. I'm not seeing anybody own their own actions at the moment, except you 2 girls. So I love that about you, that you will own it, and that we were able to, coming from a dispute that got really off track with Melly, to invite her up and become closer to her and allow her to speak as well, and understand that she's also a victim of it, and that's probably what caused the dispute. But having that openness of communication is what I'm basically saying. So I think we set 2 beautiful examples yesterday, and I'm not going to feel ashamed for it.
No. And Melly was a victim of it in a different way, and I think it's important to point out because we're not just talking about romantic relationships here, because Melly was not in a romantic relationship with
much
this
to
person.
Adam's chagrin. Adam wanted to, but she wasn't.
Right, but you have these scenarios where these people don't just exist in your dating life; they exist in your everyday life, and there are things that you need to know because you can be at risk. So when we're talking about this way to protect yourself in your dating life, it also applies to your interactions that you have with people. If you're letting people into your circle of trust, even if it's not in a dating manner, you do need to take precautions yourself as well, and that's important to point out. So in the case of Melly, she was going to work with Adam and do some work with him. There are people that I don't even agree with that I've talked to this topic about today. Like we have some major sticking points in our relationship with each other, people on Twitter that have, and some of them not fans of yours, Miss Shorty, but they're now coming forward and saying, but I also did think this person was talented and I wanted to work with them and I did these things. And so this affects far beyond, the fact that you had boyfriend girlfriend drama, as people like to say. It affects everyone, and everyone in the community needs to take a step back and say, how do we protect ourselves from this? How do we protect each other from this? And how do we give people grace to not go back and rehash the boyfriend girlfriend drama when there's a now much bigger issue on the table, which is we're all at risk from people like Adam.
And that's the thing that that actually the other victims in all of this, not the whoever, if there was even a real human victim in his you know, his criminal charges, but everybody else. Well, God forbid. I'm assuming that the rest of them were all just female friends and acquaintances on in chat rooms, you know, in live chats. But they were all equally manipulated and fooled. Like Prince Lover says, everybody was fooled. I mean, almost everybody, and enough that he gathered the forces and got them to believe whatever he wanted them to believe. So they're all people that were absolutely hoodwinked and manipulated by this person that wasn't a romantic person, and there have been very real life consequences for everybody. Like friendships and communities have been ravaged by this, and he's just left, and we're all left with the fallout. It's disgusting.
It's true. We're getting to the point to where two nights in a row, I did that stream yesterday.
Yes.
I'm probably going to have to dip because I need to get something
course.
to eat. I think I lost 7 pounds over the last couple of days. I've been on so many streams, I haven't had a chance to eat anything.
Can I just say we appreciate you defending the girls. I know
Yes,
that's the position that you like to take to defend the victims, and we appreciate that you stepped up this time, and we love you for it. Sorry that it's affecting your diet.
Yeah, it's all right. I could have stood to lose every one of those pounds. So,
and I also want to thank your wife for loaning you to us again.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
Sometimes she complains, but I think she secretly likes it because she doesn't have to deal with me during that time period. So
I like to shout her out because I know she follows us. So I don't want to say her name, but that just brings more trouble. But
yes,
to Jason's wife, thank you so much. Thank you so much. We appreciate not just your viewership, but lending him to us as often as you do.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so I'm going to pop off. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm sure I'll talk to you all shortly. Nice seeing you, Scott.
Jason.
I'll see you in person soon. And
Merry
Are you guys
Christmas.
is there court tomorrow? Someone asked a long time ago, are you going to court tomorrow? Is there court tomorrow?
there is the return harassment prevention order hearing for Lindsay Gaetani for threatening Mary is tomorrow. I won't be there in person, but I will definitely be there in spirit. And I'm only hopping off now because I need to get something to eat, and I have that surprise video that I'm going to release overnight tonight.
Yes,
so people are going to
go and do that. Go and do that. Amazing. Can't wait. How exciting.
My Christmas present for everyone, especially people with kids. All right. Talk to you soon.
Bye, Jason.
Thank you so much.
All right. Bye-bye.
So.
And then there were 4.
And then there were 4. And then... Go ahead.
I was just asking if Scotty's there. Hello, poke. He's gone.
No, I'm here. I was just letting Jason say goodbye. Merry Christmas, Jason.
Merry Christmas, Jason. Merry Christmas to all. What are you doing for Christmas, Scott?
It's a big deal in my extended family. My sister has a big Christmas Eve, and then my other sister does Christmas Day, and 2 of my kids will be coming up from Connecticut to Massachusetts. It'll be a good time.
Lovely. What about you, Abby? You just got your craft gifts to deliver?
Yeah, I'm like trying to do some like wine glasses now for like my mom and my sister, and I'm trying to do like epoxy art with like
you are so crafty.
Yeah, so I just got like this tumbler, so I'm trying to figure out how to do it because I've never done it before. But I watched a bunch of YouTube videos.
My youngest daughter is a ER nurse now, and she has to work Christmas Eve tomorrow, so she'll miss the family Christmas Eve event. But I'll see her the following day on Christmas Day.
Lovely.
Yeah, my boyfriend has to work I think he has to work Christmas night because he works at like a hospital lab, so does all like the lab work and stuff. So he actually has like Christmas Eve off, but Christmas night I think he has to work. So it kind of sucks though because he has to work the night shift, which we've been together. Oh my god, we've been together for like 5 years now. Me and Basic Bob. I call him Basic Bob because he's super basic. I mean, everybody laughs at that. But,
well, I went through that for decades where I had to work the holidays, work, Christmas Eve, Christmas.
Well, he has to work.
If you're a nurse or you're a cop or you're in criminal justice, You have to wear crazy hours where, you know, civilians have that time off.
Well, it sucks because he has to work like the night shift. So like he works like either 3 to 11:30, or sometimes he'll have to work like 11:30 to 7 a.m. And we've been together for like 5 years now. Oh my god, it's been so long. I love my basic Bob. He's my spirit person, but he's really kind of a pain in the ass sometimes. I'm like, yo, I never get to see you anymore now that you got this new lab. It's like a new lab job. So now he just like works all the night shifts and like the evening shifts. And I have a different schedule because I work during the day because I work from home, which I guess like is kind of comfy and cushy. But
Yeah, my youngest of 3, she became a nurse and she got thrown right into the fire. She works a pretty busy emergency room, and she has to do these 12-hour shifts, and she has to work 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. into Christmas. I'll see you Christmas Day.
I feel like we don't have any time together. Look, sometimes he annoys the shit out of me because he's so basic. But I do like my time with my basic Bob. So like when he does work, I'm like, now I barely get to see you. So it kind of sucks a little bit, like his whole like shift, because he does work like the lab shift. So it's just like, sometimes he doesn't get out till later, and we have opposite schedules. So I try to stay up till like 2 a.m, but sometimes I can't.
Yeah, can be tough.
I go to night. Like I went to nights yesterday on Aussie stream. So it's like it's 11 o'clock. I gotta go to nights. But yeah, it sucks.
Sorry,
sometimes.
I'm just laughing at Reese put up a comment, homeless sexual.
I mean, it's kind of like Adam in his little minivan.
Right? Oh, so funny.
I mean,
Wait, was he ever convicted of anything?
He was.
Yes.
He was?
Yes, that's why I've been going off about it.
Man, I'm trying to learn more.
Yes, so we have the court filings, the bail amounts, the sentencing, his lawyers' names. We have all the court filings, the first ones, and we're still working on the FOIA request for some more detailed information. But
did you say he wasn't on a publicly available sex offender registry?
He's level 2 sex offender, not level 3, and level 3 is the only publicly available where you get the names, apparently.
Yeah, that's always crazy because
for that state, it's for that state.
In Massachusetts, I think multiple levels are available publicly.
Yeah, this is Oregon though.
Yeah, Oregon. Yeah.
So yeah, all right. Well,
I used to. So, like in Massachusetts prison system, we tend to segregate the sex offenders. We put them all in one prison together so they don't die. But so they get all like put together in one prison. And I knew officers that were transferring to that prison, and I used to tell them, be very careful because these guys are very manipulative and they will come off to you as friendly, and you have no idea like who they really are. You got to be careful.
Yes, I'm just gonna. Prince Love has asked if we could put the document back up. Aussie, would you be able to put the maybe the court filings up so it's not just the article? We're just gonna have a look.
Yep. Hang on, give me 1 sec.
I don't think Amber doesn't want to see his mugshot anymore. Those Manson lamps are very disconcerting. The bedroom eyes have gone from baby blues to yikes, evil.
Give me 1 sec to find it in all of the emails. I don't know where the hell I put it.
No,
I've got it downloaded, haven't I? Sorry.
Yes, Oregon is a very what's the word? Is the word liberal state? Is that the right word?
I suppose. Yeah.
Like, I mean, they've got
I don't even know
legalized
right
weed.
now off the top of my head like say in Massachusetts, the sex offender registry, what's available to the public or not as far as level 1, 2, and 3. I don't even know.
I think
Right,
it's
yeah.
best if I just put the jail documents up just to show that
Yes.
he did actually go to jail
Yes,
for
yes,
it.
yes. And
The
then
other
we might
one's
wrap it.
the other one's way too long for.
Yes.
I mean, I suppose from the lefty point of view that, you know, if these offenders have done time and they're back in society, they're supposed to have their second chance, and they don't want the public that they moved into a community and they don't want everybody in the community to know that they're an ex-convict sex offender and come at them with pitchforks and torches. So they kind of limit what the public can see. But like Aussie Insider and all you people, you can go online regardless of what the sex offender registry rules are in any state. If you want to do a deep dive on somebody, you're going to figure out who they are.
Yes.
That's right. That's right. And like I said, I feel like I've let the team down because I haven't done any educational videos on that. I did a little while back. I've done multiple how to use Been Verified to look someone up. So maybe I can just snip that and, or maybe because I think Abby's got Been Verified, maybe Abby and I can do a recording and pop that up just so that people who have access to public records know how to use it.
Because even in Massachusetts, right, you have to go to like your local town, city police station. If you walk into the lobby, they'll have like mugshots of people. Oh, you know, a notification. Hey, there's a sex offender that's moved into town, and it's part of the law. But I don't know how available they make it. It's not like you can go on to a police website and they put that information out. They kind of shadow ban it, so it's not the whole criminal justice system is set up for protecting like criminal records, but with sex offenders they made an exception. They want the public to know that, you know, this sex offender has been released into the community, but they don't make it easily accessible.
Well, here's the thing: in Australia, they're actually protected. They're not allowed to. And if anyone publishes anything, we've actually got a news anchor. His name's Darren Hinch. He's been to jail like 4 or 5 times now because he has ignored the laws and continued to say this person's a sex offender, so watch out for him. He's gone to jail several times for that, for contempt of court.
And I can see it from both points of view, I guess. Like, you know, if somebody's done their time and they're trying to, you know, they get released and they're trying to start a life.
Well, I get that, but
you know
don't
what I
start.
mean? Like, and they don't want everybody to know, like, hey, by the way, this guy was in prison.
Okay, well then this is my thought on the video Jesus part of it. If that's what your agenda is and that's what you want to do, then don't create a YouTube channel, sling out content, and then go after vulnerable women or even just women in general of your audience. Like, he has an audience in the true crime, which is primarily a women-based audience demographic. So that's where I came at this from that perspective, is that he does have a voice, he does have a channel, and that channel can be dangerous. So like, if you want to start a new life for yourself, don't do that. Don't go on YouTube and create a YouTube channel and then date a YouTube creator and then try to grift off your
Right.
channel. Sorry, that was just rant. But you get what I'm saying.
I used to see it. So even in the Massachusetts prison system, a guy could go from the maximum security to the medium to the minimum. Then he's in pre-release, and in pre-release they can get a job, and they've done their time, and they get a job, and they move on with their lives. And so protecting criminal background information benefits them to turn their lives around. So I'm not against that.
I'm not either. I mean, and there's like even in Connecticut they have a like basically like a clean slate law, which I agree with, and you have to go through a board of parole and pardons. They'll pardon you. You have to come up with a case. I had one friend that had to do that. And I mean, I think that's admirable. And like, you know, like I think there's always certain situations. I mean, for that situation of Adam Turd, I don't really think there's any justification for it. I think a parole board would be like, yeah, we're not going to wipe your slate, which clearly they didn't, because I don't know if they probably do have a board of parole, pardons and parole in Oregon.
Well, in Massachusetts, the big deal is the Criminal Offenders Records Information Act, known as CORI.
Yeah,
and there's a bunch of rules about that. But what supersedes that is the sex offender registry.
Yep.
And then it depends on level 1, 2, or 3, how much information is given to the public. So it's kind of a, you know, criminal reform thing. So like if you committed a crime and you're going back out into society and you've served your time, they protect through CORI your criminal record, so you're not like marked or tainted the rest of your life. So you can, like, if you reformed yourself, served your time, you can move on. Yeah. But with sex offenders, it's a little different, and that's why they passed the law for the sex offender registry to alert the locals in the community that you have a sex offender living in your town, even though he's already done his time or her time. So it's a complicated situation.
Yeah, it is very complicated, especially with the sex offender registry, because again, I mean, and I think there are some laws, like, again, like if this wasn't, there is like a statutory, you know, like there's a statutory rape clause where there have been, like in the past, like situations where it's like a 15-year-old and an 18-year-old, and there are like, you know, but still it's statutory in Connecticut. Like if it's a 15-year-old and 18-year-old, it's automatic. Like there's no fighting it. Like you're going to be convicted for it. Massachusetts, I think it's a little bit different. There are like a clause, like, you know, in specific situations. But I feel like that situation of like what we kind of, I guess, doxed him for, I don't even want to call it doxed. I feel like doxed is a negative terminology. But I don't think that there's an excuse for like what he did. And I don't care if like I mean, again, we came upon this information same day, Sunday, and we divulged what we had. But I don't feel like for a 41-year-old man to be contacting a minor, I don't care if it was a sting or if it was something else, it's wrong. Like you can't really justify that. It's not like he was 20 and the girl was like, or like 18 and the girl was 15. Even that is kind of gross. But like still, like, I mean, there's not, I mean, the guy is a grown adult contacting a minor.
If you look at it from my jaded point of view, especially the pedophiles, once that's in them, that's what they're gonna do the rest of their lives. Even after they get out of prison, they're just gonna keep reoffending.
Even if they change the age group, they're still going to do the same practices. I want to let my audience know who are in here, who have been following the Yolanda case, the free Yolanda case, that she went to court a couple of days ago and was found not guilty of whistleblowing, or not guilty of the charges, basically. So just a really brief recap. She worked at a childcare centre. She raised concerns about a pedo as one of the carers. This is Uniting Church sort of facility. She was the one that raised the concerns and sent his paperwork to the police, and she got charged with computer crimes. And we'd put out a video, and we've been watching and waiting for the verdict on her case, and she was found not guilty of those computer crimes, obviously, because she was being a whistleblower. But for those who don't know, Yolanda is free.
Yolanda. Oh, God.
Did you know about
very manipulative, very cunning, especially some of the sex offenders. They come
Yeah.
off as very nice. They come off as highly
Childcare
intelligent,
workers, even.
and you have no idea. So I guess that's the point of the sex offender registry, I guess, but it doesn't really have teeth. It's not especially in Massachusetts, if you're not looking online or at your local police station, you would have no idea that that ex-sex offender that just got out of prison is living next door to you. You just, unless
Right. Well,
you're looking for it.
this guy had no record of doing anything like that. But what they did when in the investigation was found 150 children, 300 children. Sorry, 150 charges, but 300 children. So the charges. So there was over 300 children were found that he had done this stuff to, but only 150 of them were resulted in charges because some of the kids had moved overseas or grown up and didn't want to get involved, and it ended up only being half of them and he was charged for. But those 150 ones that he was charged for did result in life in jail. So he's never coming out again.
Well, I used to see plenty of prisoners that were sentenced to life and they never killed anybody. They just got to a point where a judge said, you know what?
It's too much.
You're insufferable and we can't leave you on the street. So they'd get life for like kidnapping a child for like the 10th time, but they never actually killed anybody, but they did tons of bad, evil things. So
he was also, oh my God, it just jumped out of my head. What was I going to say? Oh, he was also sentenced. So everybody knows that sentencing was coming up the day after I published that video. So he's also sentenced, so people know. He's no longer on the streets.
Because there's a law in Massachusetts where you can get sentenced to life for kidnapping, even though you never actually unalived somebody. So we used to segregate a lot of these sex offenders in one prison here in Massachusetts. Some of them were doing life. They never actually unalived the person, but they were hopeless, reoffending pedophiles, and they ended up getting life.
That's it, bud. Yeah, that's why his face was blurred out, because we protect them here. It's shit, I know. He shouldn't be protected. But I mean, there's plenty of videos where his face is in it leading up to the trial. But once they're convicted, not allowed to say his name, not allowed to warn people about him or anything. So it's pretty poo.
Yeah, because even the sex offender registry in Massachusetts, it doesn't get a lot of public play. It's like, unless somebody's really looking for it, it's kind of shadow banned. So I think it's kind of silly, because unless you're looking, you won't know anyways.
Yeah. So I wanted to, I'm going to dip out now, because
yes,
I've been I've been brain dead long enough, but I just wanted to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. You're probably a day or so out in America, but we are on Christmas Eve right now. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Abby. And
Merry
Scott.
Christmas, Aussie.
Sorry. Specific to Abby and Scott, because they're my house guests. Abby's my manager for the channel. Scott's my house guest, and Shorty, my friend Shorty. I'm sure we're going to catch up tomorrow for Christmas Day anyways.
100%. Yes. Thank you so much, Aussie. I appreciate you using your minimum brain capacity to share your thoughts and time with us tonight for the last 3.5 hours. So thank you so much. And I think I'm probably going to call it too. So I might say goodbye to Abby and Scott. Thank you so much, Abby and Scott.
Thank you so much for inviting me. And I love this stream. So thanks a lot.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
We'll stay strong on that there Twitter. We'll be fine. We just got to be brave and resolute and maybe stay away.
I'm just rushing.
Bye Aussie. Bye Lisa.
Bye Scott. Thank you. Bye. Merry Christmas. We'll talk to you. Bye.
Are you on tomorrow? Are you on tomorrow, Shorty?
Yes, every day. Every
Okay,
day.
so I'll pop in for a quick hello tomorrow if you like. A lot
Beautiful.
less brain dead, hopefully.
All right, get some rest. Thank you so much. Bye, Abby. Bye, Scott. Bye, Ozzy.
Bye. Have a good
Bye,
one.
everybody. Merry
Bye,
Christmas.
bye. There we go, chat. Thank you so much, everybody. I think that was a really important conversation. I saw a lot of fun in the chat. I saw you all been silly with the jokes and stuff, and also some really serious conversations, some really amazing questions and pertinent points. So thank you, chat, for saying goodbye and Merry Christmas to my beautiful, kind guests. It was amazing to have Jason, Ozzy, Abby, and Scott. What a great panel, huh? Those kind of it's like you don't want to go out on New Year's Eve because you just know there's so much pressure for New Year's Eve to be a certain way. Same with a panel when we pull together just an eclectic mix. Well, no, we're all buddies, but those ones are the ones, right? What? Clara used to hit his child. All right. Okay. That's charming. Okay. Bye, mate. Righto. Whoa. See ya. Sorry, Clara. I didn't realize I pulled that up on the screen. Awesome discussion. Yes. Thank you, panel and Shorty. You're welcome and thank you. Zach has been good, apparently. And tell Santa. I will tell Santa because he comes here first. So I'll tell him he comes here tonight. I'm so excited. The dogs are going to be so excited. So we'll do it again. I don't even know what the stream will be tomorrow. We might just play some music, just shoot the shit, hang out. I don't even know what time yet. If you're here, you're here. If you can pop in and say hi. 16 Nights of Shorty continues, right? So thank you for your love and support. Thank you, microphone, for my new professionalism. It's pretty cool. I don't like the shadow that it casts. I might have to get yet another ring light so that I can have one there as well. So there's no shadow here. Seriously, I probably will. You would like to talk later, Pierre? Yes, let's do that. Tonight has been a lot of fun, says Crystal. It was absolutely needed for me and my mental health. It's my absolute pleasure, Crystal. Thank you so much for being here with us. It's beautiful. I love this community, and trash takes itself out, and the people who we have gathered here with us now, right here and now, and in our Discord and in the wider community, it's beautiful. It's perfect. It's how it's supposed to be. Everything is how it's supposed to be, right? Merry Christmas, Kimberly. Thank you so much. Thank you to my beautiful moderators, Amber, Michelle. Here we go. Amber, Michelle, Taryn. I can't see over there. Petty. Oh, Michelle. Lol. They got you, Petty. Steph, of course. Amy was here for a while. Aussie, of course, but she was on screen. Shelby, Prince Lover. Sammy was here for a while. Dog Mom, and sometimes Nick Nack and Catherine. Thank you so much. Oh, and then also Zach. Oh my God, Zach, I've got to put you on the list. Our token male, and of course Valhalla. I should have known he'd never be here. Lol. Trolls going after Melly, are they? Thank you so much, Melly, for being here, and welcome back to Melly and Nick. Chat is Bay. I love being able to, you don't have to, grudges are no need for grudges. Melly, don't let them come for you. If you need us, we will be here. Girl code, right, ladies? Summer solstice was yesterday. Yes. Keep your eyes open for a new man coming in. Yes. So as I said, we've got behind the scenes, the full official reporters and the original detectives are still on it. We're still gathering stuff because I think this is bigger. Hi, Poppy. Do you know we're finishing up? Poppy knows we're finishing up. Yes. Scott says, I love this show. Thank you, Scott, my other moderator, guest/moderator. Amazing. Other boy moderator. Yes, Amy's GoFundMe. Good luck with the rest of your Christmas wrapping, Ruth. Merry Christmas to you. Thank you all. Girl code. That's it. Girl code. So Kevin says, 2 by 2 main squeezes. Stephanie, bloody blah. Blah, bitty, blah. And Shelby say what? Happy holidays. You are such a smooth man, Kevin. I love it. And I saw some new people coming into the Discord, so I'll pop in and say hi when we're off the stream. Thank you, Shorty. We live here now. Sucked in. You're stuck with us. I wouldn't have it any other way. Family. I have the token boy wrench here. Well, Zach's also one, but you can be a man, Zach can be the boy, Scott. That's how it works. She said it right. I know, Steph. Stephanie blah bitty blah. Oh, Poppy, you're so rough with your love. Hoppy holidays, facts. I'm gonna go and have some cheese, and be grateful for all of you because we are blessed and thank you so much. I love you. I love you. Poppy, I don't love that. She's always going to be an idiot. Look at, she's like, pat me. Poppy, just yuck, it's dumb. Don't look at me. I want to get my mouse. I can't do my mouse. Thank you. I love you. Santa's coming tonight. Oh my God. Bye. Mwah. Ah.
This tune is the Christmas sound, where a global roller coaster goes around. It's the holidays at every turn. She is a Christmas star out of Melbourne. Miss Shorty connects all the lights, just checking all bright to light up Christmas night. She's a fucking delight. Winter cold to hot summer rays, reindeer will fly pulling Santa's sleigh. 2 countries a world away, the same holiday. The Cloud Queen cares for everyone, her roller coaster ride has only just begun. This is her wish: debug, demystify, destigmatize. Miss Shorty's on the naughty list. This tune is the Christmas sound, where a global roller coaster goes around. It's the holidays at every turn. She is a Christmas star out of Melbourne. Miss Shorty connects all the lights, just checking all bright to light up Christmas night. She's a fucking delight.